us coming up at 11:30 today. We've got a packed show. I know, like, everybody has the cliche. Everybody says that on a Friday. We truly do, because in 30 minutes, Jake Eisenberg will put a bow on the Royals season with us. He's been joining us each and every Friday throughout the season. Josh Brisco is going to join us at 11. Alex Smith coming up at 11:30. It's a Fan Club Friday as well. Jay Binkley will be in studio. The cocktail of the day from our friends over at Jay Rieger & Co. is what?
A Negroni.
That's right.
A cocktail amongst my personal favorites.
That is no joke. You've talked about it for years.
You and I have been in restaurants where I've ordered Negroni. It's not even like I'm not doing this just for Jay Rieger's benefit, the sponsor of the fan club. I'm genuinely telling you that the Negroni is one of my favorite drinks. They actually have an event, Negroni versus Martini, tomorrow. I'm told we have maybe tickets for them later in fan club.
We'll give away a pair of tickets to that event as well. You guys can always interact with us on the Jay Southland Tow Service text line 913-586-7965. Video stream up and running as well. YouTube, Twitch, X, Facebook. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the shows here on 96.5 The Fan. Cody is going full Red Friday company man today. He's got a Chiefs Creed is Good shirt on. He's got the 96.5 The Fan shirt on. Drew is wearing an Indiana Pacers shirt. Not a Red Friday man.
Indiana Pacers shirt. It's like the opposite, Drew.
Let's go Sirs.
At least it's not Cincy gear. I'll give him that.
That's fair. That's like closer to like Steelers. Is he supporting them in Dublin this week?
He's locked into the Ryder Cup right now. We might have lost Drew for the day. I don't know already.
Why they're getting their ass kicked?
We are. We are. It's the United States versus Europe. We're getting our ass kicked right now.
Oh, do we get to say we're if it's like a U.S. versus?
Yes, we are getting our butts kicked by Europe.
Take credit. I don't know if I want to say we right now when they're getting their ass kicked. Let's get to like 3-3 and we can talk.
Well, okay.
Otherwise, you got to wear it. Leave me out of it.
Why does Gold look like he's going to a fraternity rush party today?
I have a TV thing to do after the show.
Okay.
I'll be on with our friends Rob Collins, John Holt over at Fox 4 for their In Zone show, which airs on Sunday. But spoiler, it's recorded on Friday afternoon.
Make sure you say Kansas City when you do that show.
Yeah,
today.
Yes. Well, they won't have me on when they're taking on the Tennessee Titans. I don't think that'll be
probably for the
that
best.
Week. They won't let me on. I think. It is good for everybody. We
For
eventually we're going to have show T-shirts and station shirts. Do you think people would buy a shirt if it just said Tennessee? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Are you sure? Where are you wearing it?
If it had like somehow a caricature of like the show or something, and it just said Tennessee cities.
I think it's going to have to be bleeped out in some way. And
that's what I mean. Yeah.
And it needs some sort of graphic. Like,
I'm going to the NASCAR race on Sunday. There's people who
you
wear
can
that
wear
shirt
it
at the
there.
NASCAR race.
You can wear it there. Perfect. All right. Let's get into this game a little bit on Sunday. Chiefs and Ravens. Obviously, official predictions will come a little bit later on in the day, and there's a lot of different angles to discuss, including, I think, one area that the Chiefs haven't been tested in yet defensively, and I think it's going to come on Sunday. But we'll just start pretty simple here. Anytime there's a big-time game that the Chiefs are in, I like to hear from you guys on the text line, obviously, the three of us on the show. How does it look? What's the game script, if you will, for a Chiefs win? What's the game script look like if the Chiefs lose on Sunday?
I think it's pretty simple in the Chiefs win department because that's going to be they look significantly better on offense, but still maintain ball control. I don't think all of a sudden it's 5 plays for 75 yards and a touchdown. They are going to win time of possession. They are going to run the ball significantly better. And on the 5 red zone trips I think they need, they cash in for touchdowns on at least 2 of them. That's what I genuinely think is that. And I don't think Mahomes is the leading rusher again. I think either Tyquan Thornton or Xavier Worthy are the leading receivers for the team in order to do it. And they don't let Lamar Jackson run for 80 to 100 yards like he's capable of. Lamar Jackson is a 1,000-yard rusher a lot of years. They have to keep him bottled up to the point of if he's below 50 yards and the other things I just said happened on the ground, I won't even give you any other. I don't care if Derrick Henry gets a little. I don't care if the receivers. I don't care if Zay Flowers makes some catches on Trent McDuffie. If Lamar Jackson is under 50 yards rushing and the things I just said happen on offense, I think that that's the clearest path to a win.
The path definitely involves, to me, the offense for Kansas City. Like, I think, the defense is going to have to contain Derrick Henry. We'll get to some numbers in the track record there. Steve Spagnuolo has done a great job against Derrick Henry. 2 of the last 3 meetings, they've been unable to get over 100 yards with Derrick Henry. That even goes back to his Tennessee Titans day, that AFC title game when the Chiefs didn't have one of their best defensive players, and yet they still stuffed Derrick Henry. So I'm confident in that. Yes, that's probably part of the game script, Cody. I guess for me, it's one particular thing on offense that has to be there. You mentioned the rushing game and everything like that. I think it's going to be that Xavier Worthy cannot just be a decoy on Sunday. I know we're all excited that it looks like he's going to play, and that's great. It can't just
be a real player.
It can't just
That's
be that
fair.
he's on the field and like, oh, well, they're not really still utilizing his full skill set. No, I think they need to have him is involved in the game plan as they would have in week one if he didn't get hurt. They can't have him, or the game plan cannot be, to quote unquote protect Xavier Worthy. It has to be, no, he's playing in this football game. We're going to see some end arounds, some jet sweeps. We're going to see Worthy utilize the way they want to utilize him all season. And with that hopefully leads to some more opportunity for some other guys. We know Tyquan Thornton is going to get one or two opportunities down the field. I think for them to win, they will once again have to connect on at least one of them. It doesn't mean it has to result in a touchdown directly.
It doesn't have to be 70 yards. It can be 30.
It can be a crucial drive in the third quarter where the team is down 3 and it's 3rd and 8 and they're at the Ravens 34-yard line, but it's a 25-yard completion that keeps the drive going, and it's just a massive 25-yard gain or whatever, right? That's kind of how I view it. I think the Chiefs win if they still keep the deep threat element. Xavier Worthy actually is Xavier Worthy in this game. And then, defensively, I'm with you. I just have more confidence in, to me, Lamar will get his, but it's whether or not Derrick Henry, for the first time against Spags in 3 games, basically goes off. We know he's got the fumbling issues. He doesn't have to fumble in this game, but can you keep him in that 70 to 90-yard rush lane? And that's what they've done the last 2 times.
I think one thing that maybe also applies here that we have not yet mentioned as it relates to the win is, because there is still no Shoe Rice, because we don't know whether or not Xavier Worthy will be full force or 80%, not just a decoy, but a valuable contributing member of the squad. No mistakes. No turnovers. That is absolutely, you cannot afford to lose the turnover. I don't care if it's 1-0. You're not beating the Ravens and losing the turnover battle on Sunday. They are too good of a team. Still, even considering the 1 and 2, they can score too easily, and you can't score easily enough still to be affording Patrick Mahomes giving the ball away, Isaiah Pacheco putting it on the ground, having backward passes. And I went back, and on New Heights they were talking about it, and it made you realize. I went back and rewatched that play yesterday of Patrick Mahomes getting that ball back after the fumble. I know that it's weird because it's objectively a horrible play. It all goes bad. It all goes south. Patrick Mahomes makes a pass. Pacheco's turned down the wrong way. The play he makes to get that ball back, it is one of the most incredible plays I've ever seen Patrick Mahomes make. The distance he covers, the play for the ball, all of it. It makes no sense that he should be that good at getting the ball back in that spot. He might have saved the game, the whole game, by getting the ball back in that moment and allowing them to punt it back instead. So, but no turnovers. You can't give the ball away against Baltimore.
Yeah, and so the Chiefs lose. I mean, for those reasons that you mentioned. I also think for Baltimore, if they somehow at all are able to get some things corrected in their defensive line group, which is going to be very difficult to do, I think, for Baltimore given the injuries that they have there. And they get some confidence, kind of what Danon Hughes was telling us yesterday. I mean, if it is late in this game, late third quarter, early fourth quarter, and it's a really low-scoring game, I do think there is some truth that Baltimore will feel like they kind of found something there. Mm-hmm. So it's a weird balance because we all kind of on this show at least agree that the lower the score of the game, it should bode well for Kansas City. But I do think there's some truth to what Danon said that, well, then Baltimore might think that they found something. Yeah, they're giving up 30-plus points per game in each one of their games this year, including to obviously the big ones against the Lions and the Bills where they gave up, 50 to Buffalo essentially or whatever. Those are deflating type of performances for your defense late in the game.
If they start getting life where it's in the teens and they're like, oh no, we're back.
Even the first drive, if Baltimore forces a 3-and-out of Kansas City's offense, that's a huge momentum shift. Even the first drive and a confidence builder in the first drive for Baltimore. So I think it is crucial. We can always say the cliche stuff, right? Get off to a good start. But I really do think it matters for the Chiefs offense. Not even if it results in a touchdown on the opening drive, but you can't go 3-and-out and just have a pitiful first drive against a Baltimore defense that has had nothing good to grasp onto so far in 2025.
Yeah, don't give them hope. Keep them down. Because the truth is, you're right. If they go down and score a touchdown on their opening drive, Gold, well, then instead what you've done is you put them right back on their heels like, oh, God, not again. We're doing this again? We're letting another team go down and score on us over and over and over? It can have the opposite effect, to your point. But if their defense gets hot, and the other thing is they've done, and we'll talk more about it, they've done an excellent job holding down Derrick Henry. Feels like if they finally get a game where Derrick Henry gets his, that's how the Ravens like to operate. I think that they are going to have to limit Derrick Henry a little bit to get the win.
A few people on the text line said, hey, did you guys see that video that was floating around from practice? Xavier Worthy's out there dancing. It looks like he'll be more than a decoy. I tend to agree as well. I think if he's playing, he's going to be heavily involved in this game plan. And yeah, that was nice to see. He looked very comfortable and loose. Now, it's one thing to dance on a practice field when nobody is running 100 miles an hour at you to try to slam you to the ground, right? That's a different scenario. But yes, it looked like the dancing, range of motion looked good, Cody. Does that mean the catching radius is good?
I'm going to need a doctor to break that down. I don't know what the dancing range of motion compares to catching a football and then being hit. Worthy overall, this is what's so crazy. He's a small guy. We talked about it. We talked about it when he got drafted. Can he stay healthy? Can he stay on the football field? Stayed healthy the entire year. In a year that if he had not stayed healthy, it's a massive problem. And they didn't run into that issue. And so you're like, oh, phew, right? Like he stayed healthy the whole year. And it wasn't even an opposing NFL player that hurt him.
Sure. Yeah. It was an unlucky route.
His own guy. Yeah. 2 years in a row, they lost one of their number one wide receiver weapons to friendly fire. Insane. Just weird. That's all.
Coming up in about 18 minutes, Jake Eisenberg, one of the voices, of course, of the Royals you've heard throughout the entire season right here on 96.5 The Fan. And every Friday at 10:30, he'll join us for the final time this season as the Royals will play their final series of 2025. We'll discuss another member of the 30 home run, 100 RBI club for this team. They're going to have two players with 30 homers, 100 RBI.
Unfortunately, Bobby won't get there unless he hits a lot of homers and get a lot of RBIs. In the last 3
yeah, that'd be a hell of a 3-game stretch. And then
RBI,
they're going to end up with a top 5 ERA in the American League, and yet they're going to finish with probably 81 wins. Anyway,
we'll ask Jake that too. It's just like going back to what Vern said yesterday about should I feel better about 500 versus 80, 81, 82, 83?
For me personally, it doesn't matter. I get what he's saying. It sounds better to say I think the winning season thing is a big deal. In general, I'm just kind of where I'm at with the team heading into the offseason. To me, 82 versus 81 or 80 versus 81, I know what the team is.
Yeah, that's
I understand. The actual record looks a little bit better, but that month of June was just such a killer for the Royals 2025 season. All right, one thing that the Chiefs haven't been tested on, in my opinion, through the first 3 weeks is the tight ends they're going up against and how they handle that in coverage. If you guys remember, a year ago, a lot of the conversation we had about the defense was, hey, the defense is playing great, but there's one area that teams have success in, and that was utilizing their tight ends against the Chiefs. Whether it was making linebackers in coverage hold up. Nick Bolton's struggles obviously in coverage. We know this, and so that was an area where other teams wouldn't necessarily beat them because of it. The Chiefs won 15 games last year, but they had success with it. And so far through 3 weeks, let's be real, the Chiefs haven't faced a high-quality tight end yet. In week 1, it was a combination of Will Dissly and Tyler Conklin. Now, Conklin did have 2 catches for 50 yards. One of them, I think, was a 20-plus yard catch. Last week, Theo Johnson of the Giants, how many of you even knew who he was? Okay, 1 catch, 10 yards. Grant Calcaterra for the Eagles because Dallas Goedert did not play.
These are just made up names.
One catch,
these aren't even real NFL players.
1 catch for 6 yards. This week, they're going to face Mark Andrews, who got off to a slow start in the first 2 weeks, but had a big performance against, who
they just lost to? The Lions.
The Lions on Monday Night Football. And maybe Isaiah Likely, who's been limited in practice, has not played this year. We all know what he did in week 1 last year. He almost got a touchdown. His foot was out of bounds. His toe, I should say, specifically was out of bounds. What I'm getting at is when this defense was really good, tight ends still exploited them. This feels like a game, and they can prove me wrong, where Baltimore, if you're wondering what I worry about, of course, Lamar, he's going to do his thing. Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, if Likely plays, that area was where Baltimore moved the ball well. It's where teams moved the ball well on them a year ago, even when the defense played well. And so far, no other team has had the personnel to exploit it. That's an area I'm going to be watching on Sunday.
It specifically stands out because the reason why they have difficulty guarding tight ends is their linebackers. And Gold, as a reminder, did any of their linebackers change in the offseason? Nah, same dudes. Still Chanel, still Nick Bolton, still Drew Tranquil. Like they're the same guys who couldn't guard tight ends the last time around. Same safeties. The secondary is not even dramatically different. So if they had difficulty guarding them last year, I got to be honest, there's not much evidence to support that they would just be magically better against them this year. So, but here's the thing. Last year's defense was one of the best in football, and tight ends got them. Mostly because it's the same way that the Chiefs have lost offensively over the last couple of years, which is if you throw to your tight ends the entire time, how many plays is it going to take you to get down there? And how many times are you going to be able to get down there without a holding penalty, an offensive pass interference, a pick, a fumble, anything? How long can you take throwing to Isaiah Likely down the field before somebody screws up? And I think that that's part of the reason that they were willing to give up or allowed tight ends to get them so badly during chunks of the year. But I don't disagree with you. It is on paper a bad matchup. It just looks weird right now because as of this moment, the Chiefs have been guarding tight ends fantastic. And there is one change I'll say. Last year, good tight ends got them. But no-name tight ends like the ones you just named got them too. Who was the guy for the Chargers who got him for like 80 yards? Not even like the main guy, like Will Dissly.
Well, this year it was Conklin, 2 catches for 50, and then Will Dissly, 1 catch for 18.
Yeah, Will Dissly got them bad last year. Like, what I'm saying is, even in a year in which they didn't have good tight ends, Will Dissly got him. So, like, maybe there is a little bit of hope that a no-name guy, cooked him last year in the tight end room. Maybe they've improved a little bit, but this will be the first time we know it. How many good tight ends do they play this year? They don't have, like, Kittle on the schedule who's hurt.
Well, they got Laporta coming up.
They got Bowers twice. He's pretty good.
Bowers twice. They have Sam Laporta in 2 weeks. The Jags really don't have one. He's an unknown name, Brendan Strange.
Giants have Evan Ingram, don't they?
No, he's with the
Broncos.
The
Broncos.
He's done
sorry,
absolutely
that's what I meant.
nothing with the Broncos so far, but that might just be more about
the Colts have Tyler Warren later in the year. He looks like he's a stud at this point in time already. He's one of the favorites for Rookie of the Year. He's off to a really nice start.
He might be a top 5 tight end in football by the end of the season, or even better than that.
Definitely possible. Yeah, it's definitely possible.
In fairness, too, to that point, last year, Isaiah Likely was the guy that did everything for them. Mark Andrews had 2 catches all game. So if Isaiah Likely doesn't go, it's a massive
he hadn't played all year.
in terms of what they have. He had 9 catches for 111 last year. Lamar also ran for 122. He hasn't gotten close to that mark this season. He looks less assertive. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. He looks like he's in between running and in between throwing more often than not. Like, there are moments in that Lions game, it's like, dude, take off and run. That's who you are. But I don't know if he's not lost to step necessarily, but he doesn't know whether he wants to run or throw. And I don't know if that's the offensive line struggles or whatever the case is, but I mean, he hasn't looked particularly like the Lamar Jackson that we're used to seeing, even though he's been throwing the ball great. He doesn't look as prolific of a player.
Can I really? They're scoring 37 points a game. So does he need to run?
Well, I understand
maybe that's why he's not, right? They're dropping 40 a game.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying in terms of what he does, because you guys brought up the stat yesterday. The Ravens' offense is not doing much more than what the Chiefs' offense is doing in terms of yards per game, in terms of all of it. They're basically the same team on offense. It's just they're scoring points.
Yeah, and that's red zone stuff. So maybe maybe the in-between hash marks, you've got a point, but certainly down in the red zone, things are going great for him.
I mentioned Xavier Worthy, how he needs to be more than just a decoy, and I think he will be on Sunday. If he is more, and is hopefully what we think he's going to be on Sunday, what does that mean for Tyquan Thornton? He has been their number 1 wide receiver. Does it automatically shift to where Worthy's the guy that's getting the most targets on the team, or is Tyquan Thornton going to have an increased role because now there's more confidence? I think it'll be Xavier Worthy. I have always, I think said with Thornton throughout the beginning portion of the season, he's going to have the deep threats. When you mentioned earlier in the week how he should be higher on the depth chart and stuff, I was like, I don't even know if the depth chart matters. Tyquan Thornton is going to be a deep threat guy. I don't know if he's going to ever really evolve into a guy that you're going to want to give 9 targets a game to, and he's going to suddenly be the underneath guy.
I think it'll be like 3 or 4 targets a game.
So will he be wide receiver 1? No, Xavier Worthy will be wide receiver 1 on Sunday.
You think just immediately?
Yes.
In the last 6 or 7 games, he really was pretty much just averaging like 6 catches, 65 yards, and a tutty. Mm-hmm. Pretty much every time he stepped on a football field for the last 6 to 8 weeks, that was pretty much what he put on the field. He was a target monster towards the end of the season, and certainly in the playoffs. But they were also very limited on options. I think there might be one more week of Tyquan Thornton wide receiver number 1. Although, in fairness, more catches have
wide
actually gone to
receiver-
Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
Could it be Hollywood Brown who's wide receiver number 1 instead of Xavier Worthy?
I mean, if Worthy's on the field, I think it's him. And again, it's not just a stat thing. If Tyquan Thornton catches a 70-yard touchdown and he has,
That's not what I mean. I just meant like who gets the most targets.
but that's what I'm clarifying, because like that doesn't count as wide receiver 1. Like Tyquan Thornton could have 3 catches in the game for 75 yards. It doesn't mean he's wide receiver 1. If Xavier Worthy's targeted 9 times, has 4 catches for 55 yards, he's wide receiver 1.
It just depends. Like if it's close, if it's 3 for 70 versus 4 for 55, I'll take.
Let's look at snap share though too. Like I mean,
that also matters.
If the snap count, and I don't know
to
what,
that, Hollywood's been the number 1 wide receiver in this team so far. So really, the question is not even Tyquan Thornton, but instead, is Hollywood Brown still going to be targeted more in this offense than Xavier Worthy? I don't know that they're going to just turn it right back into Worthy game 1. I think that they slow walked him last week. Makes me convinced they'll slow walk him again this week, and he'll be 4 to 5 targets, and some will be in the red zone. But I don't think any of the end around stuff. I don't think they'll be messing around with that very much. I think they'll just dink and dunk a little bit with Hollywood and Worthy, and I think it'll probably be more Hollywood in the early going still, because that hasn't exactly not worked. It's not been perfect, but it's working to some level of effectiveness.
Thornton's role should continue to be what it is. An opportunity down the field multiple times a game.
Thornton, I'm going to throw it to you 3 times, and 2 of those times are going to be 50 yards down the field. Okay, so I hope that's okay with you, because that's the way we're operating. I don't even think he's been the number 1 target. And I'm not just, I know he hasn't been targeted the most. But I don't think of Tyquan Thornton as wide receiver 1. I think he's the best wide receiver of the 2. I think he's a better wide receiver than Hollywood Brown right now. Or at least he's a more valuable wide receiver, however you want to quantify it. He matters more to the Chiefs than Hollywood Brown has.
He's had a bigger impact, yeah.
Going. And so the just real question is, how much do they really trust this Worthy thing? Why did they sit him against the Giants? I don't think anything has changed on this injury. Maybe pain tolerance level? I don't know. But I mean, he was practicing last week.
I still think
this week. He's definitely getting on the field. I also think he's just going to get in the end zone, because that's the way it works.
I don't know what percentage it is. I still think there was a small part of the decision last week had to have been, all right,
it's the Giants.
Baltimore's next week. We've got some stuff that we haven't shown at all this year with Worthy, and we're unleashing it on Sunday against Baltimore in a big-time AFC game. That's what I think. I'm not saying that was the overall deciding factor in why they were saving it, but I think that was part of the decision. It was one of those where we're pretty close, and you're like, oh, and also Baltimore's next week. Okay. I think it was something that helped sway the decision. I just don't think it was the biggest reason for why Worthy did not play last week. And everybody that covers the team was surprised by that news last week. And now he's been a full participant for 2 days this week?
Yeah, he's playing.
Yeah.
I know I sounded pretty confident about that last week, and I was wrong. We were both wrong.
Same, yeah.
But also, he was a limited participant, so there was always a risk he wouldn't be available. He's been a full participant Tuesday and Wednesday. Andy's rule is very simple. You practice, you play. He's been practicing in full, he'll play. That's just kind of, at this point, how I view it. So you think he'll have the most targets, most catches?
Xavier Worthy will.
Take the most yards out of it.
Yep.
Most targets, most catches. That's what we think of as wide
I think that'll be Worthy. I would go Worthy, Brown, Kelsey, Thornton.
Ooh, Thornton 4th, huh?
Yeah, because I think Kelsey ends up with 3 or 4 catches, and I think Thornton has 2 or 3 catches.
Okay.
In terms of targets, right? That's what we're talking about?
Yeah. Targets and those are kind of related, but yeah, targets and catches, yes. Let's say those combined. Because
Thornton could have the most yards because of the ability to catch a 60-yard pass down the field. But Xavier Worthy, to me, I would love on the first play of the game. I'd love the first play from scrimmage for the Chiefs. Go ahead. What are we messing around for? Get him the damn ball right away.
The way their secondary is, why not? Yeah.
Right away.
The way the secondary stinks,
get him
test him.
Throw to the guy who's more open.
I do think there's something to be said. You can practice all you want. I need Worthy to take the first hit. Right, or at least get the first, avoid the hit ideally, but right,
no, but you're gonna have to get hit at some point.
Get that one out of the way. Get it out of the way. You're not that way. You're just playing football. Do it early. You don't want to be late in the game. You're still wondering what's going to be like to get hit on that shoulder during a game. Right away, get him the football and test it basically, but mainly more of a confidence thing, and so he can just get past that mental hurdle that may exist. All right. Up next, let's briefly talk a little Royals baseball with Jake Eisenberg. He, of course, is out west in the final series of the year. We'll ask him about a couple of players hitting milestones last night.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trey Smith. You're listening to Cody and Gold weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Whether you're looking for a Bronco, an Explorer, an F-150, or even a commercial vehicle, Robside Ford has the selection.
That's right, Kevin. We've got it all. And we've got the lowest prices in Kansas City. No gimmicks, just great deals on every new Ford.
And it's not just inventory, it's how you do business. Robside Ford makes it very simple.
We do it different on purpose. Non-commissioned sales team, upfront transparent pricing, top dollar trade-in values, and a process that's actually easy.
You've even got the reputation to back it up, Bobby. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, 3,000 reviews. Wow.
And this year, we're proud to be voted Best Car Dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
So if you're ready for a better car buying experience,
come see us at 135th and State Line or check us out at robsight.com.
From Broncos to F-150s to work trucks, Robside Ford has what you need.
If you want simple and easy, you're not going to find a better spot.
Robside Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
Dane Hughes here. I've seen a lot of stat lines in my playing days, but these numbers, they caught my attention. Flight by Yingling. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and all the crisp, refreshing flavor you want in a light beer. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's got some serious history behind it. If you're into stats and taste, you're going to love this beer. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Dane Hughes. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Every big play starts with a first down, and every financial future starts with the right partner. Main Street Credit Union is not-for-profit and member-owned, which means we invest in you with guidance that's clear, tools that make sense, and people who actually listen. We're here to help you move the chains. Whatever your next move is, auto loan, savings goal, or paying off debt, let's make it one play at a time. Visit mainstreetcu.org to get started.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
there's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
It's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Huge savings on Dell AI PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors are here, and they're newly designed to help you do more faster. They can generate code, edit images, multitask without lag, draft emails, summarize documents, create live translations, and even extend your battery life. That's the power of Dell AI with Intel inside. Upgrade today by visiting Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays hit different when you earn them. We've got you covered with outdoor power equipment from Cobalt and everything you need to weatherproof your deck with Trex Decking. Plus, with lawn care from Scott's and, of course, Pit Boss grills and accessories, you can get a home field advantage all season long. So get to Lowe's, get it done, and earn your Sunday. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, Trying to find a needle in a haystack? Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Stay comfortable year-round with fast, reliable service 24/7, even weekends and holidays. Already invested in repairs? Save up to $4,500 on a new HVAC system. Schedule today at AnthonyPHCE.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We'll get to some history with the Chiefs and Derrick Henry here in about 10 minutes or so. We've enjoyed having Jake Eisenberg join us throughout the baseball season. The Royals will wrap up the 2025 season this weekend out west against the Athletics. And Jake is kind enough to join us a little early out there on the West Coast. Have you been to Sacramento before? I forgot. They're wrapping up in a minor league stadium.
Yeah, this is a little bit strange of a place to finish the season. No, I have not been to Sacramento before. Once upon a time, the Omaha Storm Chasers, Omaha Royals, would have come to Sacramento as part of the Pacific Coast League, but since 2020, when Omaha was moved to the eastern side of AAA baseball, they have not been to Sacramento. So when I joined Omaha in 2020, I would have come here if not for a canceled season. But in 2021, it was AAA East, and so we flew in the other direction. So no, first time in Sacramento, and it'll be an interesting experience.
I saw you yesterday post a photo of like maybe something they had set up there of like 1980s full baseball card set. Are you a baseball card guy? Do you collect?
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool. I wouldn't say that I am like a huge collector. I've got one collection that I've been kind of working on over the years. I've been trying to get the rookie card of every player that I've had on a team in the minors. So from Brooklyn, Winston-Salem, Richmond, and Omaha, guys that I've had there that have gone on to make their big league debut, I've tried to find their rookie card. It's a list of about 60, 70 guys.
That's a pretty good list. Do you try to get like autographed ones or just any rookie card?
No, just the rookie card.
Okay.
Just the basic rookie card, which for some guys is a little bit trickier than you might expect, but for others it's a little bit easier. There's more of them.
Jake,
but it's a fun little project.
Jake, admittedly, we absolutely had this conversation in the middle of the year about Salvador Perez and age and the way. And look, going back, these are some of the issues that eventually are going to keep this team out of the playoffs. But Salvador Perez had a stretch of games where we're like, maybe he's just too old and it's not going to work out. He finishes last night with 100 RBI. He already hit his 30th home run. For a guy this long in the tooth for major league standards, pretty impressive he's able to still put up those numbers.
Yeah, and if only we had the audio from early in like April or May where I said, just you wait. And like here's the thing, like here's what's so great about it is like when I got to the Royals in 2023, having been, watching the Royals from afar in Omaha for a couple of years, I thought maybe the same thing. I thought, oh, you know what? Maybe this is the year that there's some regression. And then I saw Salvador Perez up close every day for the first time. And I finally started to understand what actually helps him keep Father Time at bay. It is a relentless energy. It is a relentless pursuit of excellence. It is a relentless desire to win. It is a relentless ability to have fun playing baseball every single day. And what I've seen now for the last 3 years is the same exact discussion happen in April or May or June or at some point during the season of, oh, is this the year where maybe Salvi should hit lower in the lineup or maybe not catch? And then we look up at the end of the season, and he's had a terrific, productive year. And so I, last year, decided I will never be a part of the camp that says, oh, is this the year? When it happens, it'll happen. If it happens, it'll happen. Until then, Salvador Perez is going to be an everyday productive player and a joy to watch every single day.
Jake, we've talked about the offensive struggles, at times throughout this season, and now looking to this final series, and unfortunately just where they're likely to finish in terms of record, whether it's going to be a 81-win season, maybe it's an 82-win season, whatever it may end up being. If we could simplify it down, is it just you look at this team having maybe a top 5 ERA in the American League and going to have multiple players with 30 homers and 100 RBI? Was June just the killer for them?
I mean, in short answer, you can look at any number of losses. Like June was a very bad month, but September, the beginning of September, was also not so great in terms of wins and losses. I actually look at this slightly differently, and I've tried to distill this in the simplest way that I can understand. And what I noticed is I compared some first half statistics and some second half statistics, and it actually painted a pretty interesting picture of why the Royals are right around 500. First half of the season, the Royals' rotation was top 5 in baseball in ERA, and the offense was second to last in runs scored per game. Second half of the season, the offense is top 10 in baseball in runs scored, and the Royals' rotation is bottom 10 in ERA. So at multiple times this season, the Royals have had a top 5 rotation and a top 10 offense. They just have not happened at the same time. And because they have flipped, and they have flipped so dramatically, you wind up with a team that has had all the facets you need to have a contending, winning team, but because they have not all coalesced at the same time, you wind up right now at 80 and 79.
We had Vern on Wednesday. He said he views baseball, and for this team in particular, the season level of success differently, depending on 80 wins, 81 wins, 82 wins, which would give you a winning season. Do you view it that way? Do you think the team should view it that way?
Yeah, I think having a winning record is really important. I think it's important when you talk about wanting to sustain success as an organization, which is something that JJ has talked about and everybody in the organization has talked about. If you want to be an organization that sustains success, then you need to stack winning seasons together and have back-to-back winning seasons. And you need to ultimately get to a point where, well, winning season is not necessarily a box that you check. It is the minimum expectation of what you have. So, yeah, in that sense, I think getting to that 82nd win is meaningful.
When you look at what they're going to do this offseason, it seems to me, and obviously you don't have, like, JJ's not telling you their whole offseason plan. Right now, it's like pitching. It seems like they're fine. The first 5 or 6 guys in the order feel like they're pretty set. Is it as simple as, do you think they'll just take the approach, or would you take the approach of, we'll just put it together at the same time? Is it going to be a lot of the same faces in your mind?
I don't know you mean, is this offseason similar to last offseason?
No, yeah, as in, I don't know that they'll make a ton of moves. I feel like they have the pitching, might have more pitching than they started the year with, depending on health, and that the offense, I don't think they're going to go out and sign or trade for some big left fielder necessarily.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I'll be honest, I have not looked at the free agent class to see where there might be, let's say a right-handed hitting outfield bat necessarily. And they do have one currently in Randall Grichuk, and there is a mutual option there. They're generally not exercised by one party or the other for a variety of reasons. I think you look at this team, and it kind of goes back to what we were talking about. Like, the pieces are there. You've got a rotation that has proven that it can be top 5 in baseball and has been top 10 in baseball throughout the season. You have more starting pitching depth this year, assuming health, than you did when the year started, right? You've added, Stephen Kolek and Ryan Berger. Noah Cameron has emerged, and he makes his final start of the season tonight. He's emerged as a real anchor of the rotation and should finish top 3 in Rookie of the Year, if not second behind Nick Kurtz. And all due respect to what Nick Kurtz has done, although Noah Cameron clearly has been the best rookie pitcher in the American League. And then you look at the offense, and look, we're talking about 2 guys in Vinny Pasquantino and Salvador Perez that have gone 30-100. You're talking about a generational player in Bobby Witt Jr. that's a perennial MVP candidate. Michael Garcia takes a huge step forward. And also, you've brought in Jack Caglione and Carter Jensen as high-level prospects that you hope take meaningful steps forward with their first season in the big leagues. You hope that India bounces back and has a season closer to what he knows he's capable of. You hope Michael Massey bounces back and has the season he knows that he's capable of, and he's finished really strong so far. Kyle Isbell had a really solid season, both offensively, and he was outstanding defensively. And then you see what the other pieces are around that. Now, Tyler Tolbert has been a bright spot off the bench, pinch running. He's come through in a couple of situations here and there. I understand that I'm looking at this through Royals-colored glasses, and we're talking about pieces of a team that has proven that, to this point, they are 80 and 79. I think at the same time that a supplemental piece here, a different addition there, I don't know that this Royals team is all that far away from being at the top of this division, and it just requires putting it all together in the way that we've seen the Guardians do this year, where it's taken an insane legendary run to get to the top of the division, not unlike what the Detroit Tigers did last year. So, in the 3 years that I've observed the American League Central up close, it's been pretty much three different teams that have led the division throughout the way. They've all done it in slightly different ways, but one thing that has been the same about all of them is that they have all gotten incredibly hot at certain points throughout the season and had multiple sustained winning streaks of 7 or 8 games, or have won 9 of 10 or 11 of 12 at multiple points throughout the season. The Twins did it in 2023. The Tigers had that run last year. The Guardians are having that run this year. The Royals have not had, multiple winning streaks of that length. They have not necessarily gotten hot multiple times, but they certainly have the pieces to put it all together and do it and be one of the most competitive teams in the league.
You mentioned the Guardians and Tigers. We've all been keeping an eye on this unbelievable collapse by the Tigers, and currently the Guardians do have a game lead, or excuse me, currently they're tied with the Tigers with the tiebreaker for the American League Central. Do you believe that the collapse will be official, that the Guardians will end up winning this division this weekend?
I mean, at this point, yeah, I do. Part of that is because the Guardians own the tiebreaker. And so, the Guardians control their own destiny here, and they're playing a Rangers team that is very good, but the Tigers are playing a Red Sox team that is also fighting for a playoff spot. So, if you were to ask me which of those two is going to wind up winning the Central right now, I'd say it's the Guardians, and it is truly incredible what they've done in the wake of being, frankly, left for dead the second half of the season, having a gambling investigation that's involved one of their starting pitchers and one of the premier closers of the game, and somehow, some way, they have pulled it together and come down the stretch in a truly incredible fashion.
They're going to win this division with a negative run differential too. Is what's really going to happen?
Yeah, it's entirely possible. It's Cleveland Devil magic all over again.
Jake, we appreciate having you on the show, man, throughout the season. I know, I'd be sleeping in on these West Coast trips, so we appreciate you calling.
Hey, no, I appreciate talking to you guys. It's always been fun. I will admit that, this morning was a little bit of a tighter turnaround with a very late night flight. We didn't get in until about 2 a.m. local time, so had to set the alarm. But hey, nothing gets me up and excited in the morning like knowing I got a phone call with you guys.
Oh yeah,
Royals baseball.
Gold's gonna Venmo you for the double shot. That way, at least you're square away.
Yeah, exactly.
That's coming from Drew, right?
Yes. Drew's got it handled.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
There you go. Jake Eisenberg. You'll hear him for the final series of the 2025 season for the Royals right here on 96.5 The Fan. Do appreciate you coming on. Yeah, some of those road trips and travel, man, that can be a grind. You're talking about 162-game season, even as a broadcaster. That's a lot of work. And 2 a.m. and then flipping and waiting for a phone call from us on a Friday morning. So thanks to Jake.
Same thing applies. I'm just frustrated with the Royals because I think they had enough talent to be a playoff team, and they weren't. So that's annoying. You don't have to boil it down to much more complicated than that. They have multiple guys with 30 home runs and 100 RBI. They had one of the better pitching staffs in the American League. They came up short.
Yeah, but see, that's where. So yes, they did, and I am excited about the future. And they've obviously got a lot of talent on this team. But the same way we can view it as a positive and say,
it's how did you come up short considering?
Well, it's how you came up short, but also they had those elements and it still wasn't good enough. And so now, heading into next season, if it's basically going to be kind of run it back 2026, things are just going to work out in our favor. I don't know if I'm a huge believer in that philosophy, and that might just be the reality of what they're going to do. That's fine, and I think they will once again be very competitive in all this, but
will they win a division or get a playoff
As much
spot?
as I can list off all these players that had great years, okay, they're going to do that again? They're, like, no regression from them, and all the players that struggled are all going to get better? Like, that's a very optimistic way to view the 2026 season.
Yeah, it might just be that, I mean, and if everything was reversed, all the bad players are good and all the good players are worse, then maybe you're just 82 wins again. So the question is, can you maintain that? I do think that there's a chance the pitching staff is quite a bit deeper, only just based on the fact that the midseason trades they made and the addition of Noah Cameron being good has certainly added some depth there. I hope they do something this offseason. I'm not just saying run it back. I'd prefer they found a right-handed corner outfielder, but that's going to have to come via trade, as we've talked about. We'll talk about our perfect offseasons for them maybe next week.
Yeah, coming up in 15 minutes, we will have Joshua Brisco joining us, our Chiefs insider, one of our Chiefs insiders. Of course, going to host pre- and post-game this Sunday afternoon, 3 hours before kickoff of Chiefs and Ravens right here on 96.5 The Fan. I do want to get back into the Chiefs with something that has happened the last couple times against Derrick Henry. This is why, as much as we know Derrick Henry is a no question first ballot Hall of Famer, I know he's got the fumbling issues now. My guess is, guys, he's not going to just fumble the football every single game in this 2025 season. I would enjoy one more game of fumbling from Derrick Henry. That'd be nice. It certainly would help the Chiefs win the game on Sunday. But Steve Spagnuolo has consistently had, I don't know if it's called a plan, just the right personnel grouping, whatever. They've held him in check. Derrick Henry will get his occasionally. He's not going to get held to 30 yards rushing. However, 2 of the last 3 times the Chiefs have faced Derrick Henry, including one when he was with Tennessee, in fairness, he's been held under 100 yards, including 13 carries for 46 yards last time. So I was joking about you're not going to hold him to 30. They held him to 46 yards last time, as in the opener last year. And yeah, that was where we mentioned the tight ends had success. Lamar Jackson will give them more fits, in my opinion, actually, than Derrick Henry.
I agree. Running, so you'd mentioned earlier in the show that tight ends have gotten the better of them. You know, right, for the last 3 years that quarterbacks getting rushing yards against them has been a killer. Hell, it cost them the first game. They didn't even get to turn the ball back over to Patrick Mahomes because they let Justin Herbert scramble for 20 or whatever the hell it was in the first game of the season. I'm much more worried about that. The thing about Derrick Henry is I both fundamentally understand that he is one of the better running backs in the NFL. Because every time I watch him play, it's against Kansas City, he just looks washed every time they play.
He's not, though.
I know. So, that actually speaks very highly of Spags. Because I know, again, I understand that Derrick Henry is one of the top 5 backs in the league.
You talk about athletic freaks, that he is one of the prime examples of that over the last 15, 20 years.
He looks like Ezekiel Elliott in his last year against the Cowboys against the Chiefs. I think it must just be run defense scheme stop stuff, or it might just be that Chris Jones is a good disruptor in the middle and it kind of prevents them from getting to the gap stuff that they like, because there is no good reason other than Steve Spagnuolo is really good at figuring out Derrick Henry, and it is on the list of concerns I have for how they get beat on Sunday. Derrick Henry shreds them. And look, I guess I can eat these words come Monday if it's the opposite. Derrick Henry shreds them for 130 is way down the list. Because for whatever reason, that has not been their issue with them or controlling them.
Yeah, they're also really, it sounds simple. Every team would like to do this, but if you go back and watch even last year's opener, they're really good at gang tackling Derrick Henry. Like it's not one guy trying, because given his size, it's not one guy trying to bring down Derrick Henry. Usually one guy makes initial contact and there's 4 other defenders right there to help wrap up. That's also part of the key. Derrick Henry, we know he can stiff arm and embarrass one guy. He'll embarrass you.
But he gets 60-yard runs regularly against other teams.
They've been able to get it done against Derrick Henry. And that might make some people nervous because you're saying, you guys are talking about how good they've done. Now this will be the game. I'm just saying that the track record has been very good for Spagnuolo. And Derrick Henry has usually not been the reason why the Chiefs got into trouble with Baltimore. Also, I shouldn't even say the Chiefs are 5-1, right? With Patrick Mahomes against the Ravens.
Have you considered the ref part of it? We're about to get our first.
Again.
The refs are helping the Chiefs. Warren Sharp sent out the career record for Clay Martin, who will be the head referee for the game on Sunday. The Baltimore Ravens are a career 0-3, with Clay Martin being the lead ref since 2020. The Chiefs, a perfect 6-0.
Oh, jeez.
They love Clay Martin. Although they're like 6-0, that's like their just normal record. for normal teams probably during that time.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The Chiefs are winning more games than most teams over the last 5 or 6 years.
He apparently has a very low defensive pass interference rate and a low third down offensive penalty rate.
This is both very well for Kansas City.
So there might actually be a little bit of something to it.
What's his track record on calling illegal formation on the offense?
Because if he doesn't call that one either, then we're really cooking.
What's his track record with that, specifically on right tackles, please? That's the stat I want to know.
Give me the breakdown on how often he calls that one.
Did you see the ref last night, Thursday Night Football, as Cardinals-Seahawks? Ended up actually being a fun finish. The Cardinals, to me, Seattle had no business not winning that game, but it got very interesting late. Seattle ended up kicking a game-winning field goal. But there was a point where Jackson Smith-Njigba was upset with a call. It was an offensive holding call. Charbonnet had run. They didn't even need a hold, and he did. It was a bad holding on Smith-Njigba. And he was so upset that the ref's mic was on, so it was a hot mic. And basically, he just cursed towards about the call.
He said that's BS.
Yeah, and the ref just this what you would do to your kids, in terms of the look.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I'm talking. If you watched last night. And this ref just kind of glared at Jackson Smith-Njigba. It was a great moment. He was in the middle of getting ready to announce the call, and he waited and just kind of gave him
him a sneer.
Disappointed in you look. It was great. I think the referee was Alex something last night.
I missed that. I know the look you're talking about.
If you just go on Twitter real quick and search Njigba and ref.
That's where I saw it. That's where it's there.
And then immediately I'll find it.
Mm-hmm. And he'll be like, "Oh yeah."
Kind of quiet in that game
until the second half. Yeah, until the second half, he got going. But Njigba ref, if you just search that on Twitter, and you'll see the look that the ref is giving him.
Because obviously Njigba said that's some BS, and then the ref he full pauses in the middle of it, and then finishes it okay, if this is how you're gonna act, we can figure out the rest of this. That's funny. You know what though? The Cardinals are 2-2 and easily could be 4-0, and yet they're just the least impressive 2-2, almost win every game team.
Look, Kyler Murray is
something
not why
just
they
doesn't. He was really bad in the first half.
He's not why they there's just such a limitation with him. Yeah. He doesn't have the killer instinct. They were talking about even on the post game. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick brought it up, and I thought he was right. Just if you're not going to lead, he's not a very vocal person, and that's fine, right? Kyler Murray's not. But if you're not going to lead in that way, then you have to lead with having exciting plays. And a play, instead of sliding, you go for it on a particular play. And that's not, you got to find some way to energize your team. If you're not going to be the guy that's boosting the morale of the troops, if you will, he's got to do something else, and he doesn't. He's not going to be the guy that's in your face or any of that. And that's fine. You don't have to be,
he
although I would argue.
Almost like he'd rather be doing anything else.
Yeah, I did.
And he's
not
like the worst football player, but he plays almost like I'd rather be doing something else, but this is my job, so I come here and I do it, and that's fine.
I did laugh in post game at his presser because he was making a good point. Hey, basically he was saying we've got to start quicker, and he said it feels like our offense is taking too long. He's like, it kind of feels like our offense is just kind of loading. I'm like, oh, he's about to give us a video game example. It's kind of like the Call of Duty loading screen. We take too long.
You can't mention it.
If he would have said that, but that's essentially what he was saying. He said we're taking too long to load. If he would have brought up a video game reference to that, I would have lost.
This person from the 913 does not like Warren Sharp.
No, that person
at all.
Yeah, he called him an effing bleep.
For what
and
it's
that
worth,
he will bleeping. Yeah,
I've met Warren Sharp multiple times. I find him to be a very pleasant human being.
He basically said that if he sees Warren Sharp, everybody should watch out.
Warren Sharp looks like he could. I think he could scrap a
that stash is something,
dude. He's kind of tall.
This person does not like that.
He's kind of tall. He doesn't look like he doesn't work out. I'm just saying, maybe don't pick a fight with Warren Sharp. That's all. I'm not saying for sure he'd kick your ass, but I'm saying it's not 100% that you think it is.
He said it's on site.
What's he fight? What did Warren Sharp do?
This person doesn't like Warren Sharp.
They're standing on business.
Yeah,
I can appreciate somebody who does that. I thought it was cool last night too. You could see in real time Marvin Harrison Jr. have the yips and overcome them within the span of an hour of real time. I thought it was crazy.
He stepped up late. Yeah, he stepped up late.
He was big time late. Had the one catch, and you could tell that it was very meaningful to him.
Mm-hmm.
People were talking about him getting traded at halftime. I mean, they were ready to see Marvin Harrison Jr. gone.
Look, if
it's fine, he can come to Kansas
City.
Right.
I was going to say, hang on.
I put him on my fantasy football
trade quickly.
I put him on my fantasy football trade block at halftime, and then by the end of the game, I removed him. And then I got a trade request from somebody. They wanted me to trade Michael Wilson for Marvin Harrison, and I said, "LOL, you got to be bleeping me."
Yeah, I think all 31 other teams would gladly take Marvin Harrison Jr.
If he's not working out, it's fine. He can come here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to figure it out.
Up next, let's talk with Josh Brisco, who will be hosting pre and post game for the Chiefs Radio Network right here on 96.5 The Fan as the Chiefs take on the Ravens. Let's ask him about Xavier Worthy. Does he agree that there will not be any decoy there, that Xavier Worthy will be the primary option in this offense? We'll also discuss Derrick Henry. That's coming up right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
NFL Sunday is coming, and you've got your crew, your couch, your snacks, your slate, and FanDuel is coming in with something extra. This isn't just another NFL Sunday. It's your chance to place that perfect parlay. Or you know what? Hit your go-to player prop. And now they're making it even better because this week, FanDuel's bringing the bonus. That's right. Right now, all customers can get a 50% profit boost on any NFL bet. However you play your game, FanDuel's got your back with something extra in your account because that's what Sundays should feel like. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to download the app and get in on the action before kickoff. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Trust, price, and ease of transaction. That is GiveMeTheVin.com. We love to buy cars. People don't trust car buyers. People think the price is going to be wrong, and people think it's going to be a hassle. Trust, price, and ease of transaction. That is what we do at GiveMeTheVin.com, and that's what makes us America's best car buyer. Go to GiveMeTheVin.com right now and get a quote on yours.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
Count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount+.
Here we go.
This week, it's a must-see matchup as Lamar and the Ravens visit Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Oh, my goodness.
Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Raise your glass to the start of Oktoberfest and keep it raised for our authentic Stein hoisting competition. Round up your crew and join in on Fridays throughout September, starting at 6 p.m. for the chance to win weekly prizes and Sam Adams swag.
Sailor Jerry's Run presents FAC 31, Saturday, October 4th at Cable Dahmer Arena. Witness a full night of MMA action, streamed live worldwide. The main event is champ on champ when Jose Hernandez takes on Ray Hayes. Zach Scroggin will battle Alonzo Martinez in the co-main event. Tickets for FAC 31 are on sale now through Ticketmaster or the Cable Dahmer Arena box office. Sponsored by Gary Crossley Ford, Healthy Looks Pet Spa and Wellness, Dream Machine Motorsports, Apple Roofing, and Tintmaster.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a best man speech, but getting one from some random +1.
I am honored to be standing here today, also confused and a little hungry. Does anyone want to switch entrees? Pretty sure I checked beef.
You wouldn't settle for just any speech, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Your cold is coming. Your cold is coming. When you feel a cold coming, shorten it with Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand.
Oh no, not before my big trip.
The big trip you've been planning is coming up, and so is your cold. But Zicam can shorten your cold and get you back to planning sooner.
Thanks, Revere.
We really should keep Zicam in the house.
Shorten your cold with Zicam.
Take it from America's most revered messenger. Shorten your cold at the first sign with cold shortening products from Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand. Available in stores or see where to buy at Zicam.com.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays hit different when you earn them. We've got you covered with outdoor power equipment from Cobalt and everything you need to weatherproof your deck with Trex decking. Plus, with lawn care from Scott's and, of course, Pit Boss grills and accessories, you can get a home field advantage all season long. So get to Lowe's, get it done, and earn your Sunday. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
Listen to the Chiefs and Ravens on Sunday with pregame starting at noon. Kickoff at 3:25 with Mitch, Danon, and Kling. Right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2. Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station.
What an epic intro.
What is this?
For Joshua Brisco.
Yeah.
Wow, is this just for Brisco?
Yeah.
It is the 11 o'clock hour.
Feels intense.
Josh Brisco does join us every Friday at 11 to talk some Chiefs football. He, of course, will be hosting pregame coverage this Sunday, 3 hours before kickoff, and I no longer can give him a hard time about not having a win in the host column.
Good.
He's good to go now. We're full steam ahead here on 96.5 The Fan and the Chiefs Radio Network. Brisco, we also are about a half hour away from having Alex Smith call into the show.
Yeah, I saw the rundown today. It was Jake Eisenberg, me, Alex Smith, and then Bink for the fan club. I really do feel like a bit of a weak link for you today. I'll do something fun if I can, but I honestly, I could spend the next 15 minutes going, and a reminder, everybody, Alex Smith joins the show at 11:30, and I think that'd be best for retention.
You know, that's not the worst thing. Although, how do you think he'd respond to any questions related to whether he's soft or not?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man, we are deep in
That's
the
a deep
archives.
pull.
The thing is, most of the people listening have no clue what Cody is referencing.
But
That's the
Brisco
only
immediately
problem.
laughed. They just know it's funny. He got asked if he was soft in a press conference
I
once.
know. As they
and
always say,
everyone laughed.
As they always say in radio, inside jokes are really, really good on-air content.
Look, Gold, nobody's listening to 11:30 anyway. Who cares?
People don't want to hear from the former Chief about a team that once struggled and started 1-5 he was on and then eventually won. He has no insight on any of this.
Right.
We'll go just to the source, to Joshua Brisco and all this. Look, in this game, how much do you think Xavier Worthy will be at 100% of what he was doing last year, which was he was the single biggest major resource in the offense? Are we back to that right away, or are they going to walk him in slow?
I do think it's worth remembering how, and this is a paraphrase, not a direct quote. I do feel like Andy Reid has talked about over the years, like, well, when a guy's available, he's available. So you can't be too in your own head about like how many snaps a guy's going to get, and this isn't a leg injury, right? So that both clears things up and makes it a little bit murkier for me, because I would say, well, if Xavier Worthy wants to be out there for, 75% of the snaps, because he should still be in relative football shape, that his legs should still be just as good as they were in week one, I'd love to see that. I'd be a little bit surprised if he got the week one game plan diet of just planning on feeding him all throughout this game, but especially when you look at this Ravens defense that has so many problems, specifically on the ground, this is a little bit into probably a future question here. I'm no Alex Smith, but you do want to be able to stretch the Ravens horizontally also and just start screwing with their angles and try to make sure you have an extra gear both on the ground and through the air. So I'm thrilled. I guess knock on wood, it's not official yet, but I'm thrilled to assume that Xavier Worthy is going to be back out there. I'm guessing it's going to be less than his ideal workload, but I'm glad to have him back on the field.
I would try to get him involved early, though. But you mentioned maybe the middle hurdle and worrying about or not worrying about snaps and things like that. But I kind of want him to get a touch very quick in the game, get the first tackle, and just kind of move on from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be something where I think for a long time, if not for the entire season, we're all going to kind of, grimace and grit our teeth whenever he gets tackled and lands on his shoulder the rest of the way. But I am extremely not a doctor, and it seems like there is precedent for how you can operate with this exact injury. Again, didn't Juju have basically this at one point too? I think one of the coaches mentioned. So again, it's similar is also a big deal because I don't know the exact differences and what's going on inside that shoulder. So I want to see him survive a little bit of contact. I think it was Connor Embry who said, look, we're not telling him to catch it and slide, right? So he's got to be able to play a physical game, but it seems like I can't imagine the Chiefs putting him out there with the expectation that every time he takes a hit, it's 50-50 that he'll play again,
Although I do think that they understand that it's always a risk, and I genuinely think that they probably sat him out against that one being like, I'd rather have him for the Ravens. On the off chance that it's only one game and Worthy's not exactly the same, forget playing him against the Giants. We want him for a game that we need him for. And I do think that they need him. I would have predicted and would be predicting the Ravens to win this game if Xavier Worthy's unavailable.
Yeah, I'm of a similar mind where I do think if you could guarantee me what Worthy would do, it would make me more confident in a prediction or kind of looking ahead that way. I do worry about just simply this offense not having enough horses, not having the gears to take advantage of the Ravens defense in the way that the Lions and Bills both have. But if there's any opportunity for this Chiefs running game to put some of these doubts the first 3 weeks into the back seat and to just purely move forward, this is not the Baltimore Ravens teams and the Baltimore Ravens defenses that any of us grew up watching. Like since the dawn of the franchise, this is not a defense we've seen out of Baltimore. So if there is any world in which Isaiah Pacheco gets back on the horse here, or any world in which Brashard Smith has a breakout game, this is the time to reveal that, because I think you've got to try to punish them on the ground because it's a way that they've been very gettable this year.
We're talking to Josh Brisco here on 96.5 The Fan. Of course, he will be hosting pre- and post-game coverage this Sunday as the Chiefs take on the Ravens. It starts 3 hours before kickoff right here on 96.5 The Fan. Derrick Henry is a first-ballot Hall of Famer. He's a freak. All this is true. He's got a fumbling problem right now. That's also true. We were looking it up, though. The Chiefs under Spags have handled him pretty well. How concerned are you about Derrick Henry being the game changer, if you will?
A little bit less than most, probably. It's funny. I think back. This is way back. We're a team ago, but I think back to the AFC Championship game and all the talk against the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Not the Ravens. The Titans AFC Championship game. All the talk of well, here's what Derrick Henry can do with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. And I remember just looking back, not to take a long road to pat myself on the back, but I just remember looking back at that game and going, oh, we kind of nailed that in the analysis of no, Derrick Henry's not going to single-handedly beat this football team. Now, years later, his quarterback is no longer Ryan Tannehill. So that to me is the thing that rises him back up to where he wasn't super productive against Detroit. He does have these fumble issues late in games against good teams. There is a pretty clear recipe there for how the Chiefs handle that. I did just hear recently, I think it was a Nate Tice stat, talking about how the Chiefs' run defense in base has been really, really poor this year, which is kind of interesting because I feel like the run defense by and large has been pretty good. And you think about base packages, you go, well, that means you've got Nick Bolton and Leo Chanel and Drew Tranquil on the field out there together. But again, this Ravens team has so much athleticism starting with the quarterback that the entirety of their running game is, at least in theory, still incredibly dangerous. But that's not really how they've played this year offensively either. So the truth is the Ravens have 5 different ways they could beat you. The interesting thing is that we've seen a couple ways this year where they can blow it.
Do you think that there's a chance that this is one of those mistake games for both teams, just knowing the desperation both are going to feel going into it? They know they're both staring down the barrel of 1-3, which is far off of the expectations that both of these teams have set for years and years and years. Sometimes I wonder when you're pinned back into that corner, teams make mistakes sometimes instead of like rise above it. They try to do too much in a moment and fumble the ball away or do those things. It feels like this game could have that.
I think you're right. I also could, though, totally the other read on it. I think this game could start tight. Because if you are both of these teams and you are thinking about all the things that you just laid out there, you go, well, the first team to make a mistake, a really bad one, a backbreaker, a real self-inflicted wound, the first team to do that has now given the keys to the other team. And then now you can try to drive this game knowing that you've got an extra possession because Travis Kelce tipped a ball up or Derrick Henry put the ball on the ground or one of the quarterbacks makes a mistake. So I think it's going to be very interesting to kind of stress test that, Cody, in the first quarter, really. See, is this a game where guys are starting to press, or is this a game where everybody's trying to play very, very within themselves because they know how punishing any real mistake could be?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. These teams typically play close. Obviously, the Chiefs have been the better end of that end, which I guess I don't like. I look at those records kind of like I look at the Bills one. I don't know that it tells me that the Ravens can't beat the Chiefs as much as it's just these are two really good teams, and the Chiefs have just won more of them. Like the Bills have a winning record against the Chiefs in the regular season. They haven't always been the better team in those games. They've just won more regular season games, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that ends up being, for me, a lot of times just kind of a Patrick Mahomes stat where you go, well, when these games are the most meaningful, this guy just pretty much never loses. Obviously, there are a couple of examples, like one AFC Championship game and a couple of Super Bowls. And you go, man, what a record that he has built together. I do think, and maybe I'm overreacting on this one because it's just, I'm talking about 2 losses in 2025 for Baltimore, but there is just like something, right? Like you see it. We all see it. We've all felt it with Baltimore. They have been the team on paper now for a number of years, even whenever the Chiefs have been closer to full strength or before some of these evolutions. You go, well, this Ravens team, like they have all the ingredients that you would expect out of a legitimate Super Bowl contender, and they never actually get there. Now, this year they're in this spot where they might not be that team because the defense has been poor. I haven't seen anything new on the Ronnie Stanley front today, but it seems
he didn't practice yesterday.
He didn't practice yesterday, so it seems like it's unlikely that he's going to play. They have the injuries on both sides of the ball and the performance issues to this point, and still, from the Kansas City perspective, I still look at them as a team that has every bit of the Super Bowl aspirations they had at the beginning of the year, and I don't know that that's actually right. I think I might be giving Baltimore the credit that they have earned over these last few years, and funnily enough, the credit they've earned over these last few years has never really gotten cashed in. It's never even gotten cashed into a Super Bowl appearance. That's largely a Mahomes thing. I guess it can be a little bit of a Josh Allen thing, but it is such a bizarre team, and what kind of feels, I don't know, again, this is way too early, but this year, even coming into it, was kind of like, well, if Baltimore doesn't get there this year, their window isn't the same size it's been in the past. So I really think this is a fascinating football game between two teams in both very similar places with very different recent histories.
The other part of the matchup that has not gone the way of Baltimore, obviously, is just the head-to-head stuff with Mahomes and Lamar. But at the same time, I look at the 17 straight one-score games the Chiefs at one point had won, and this year, obviously, they're 0-2 in those one-score games. It feels like this is one of those where this will be a one-score game that they win again. As much as 17 in a row wasn't sustainable, I don't think now the Chiefs are just going to never win one-score games.
No, you're right, and that's, this is always kind of a hard thing to talk about. I remember doing it last year, and sometimes people get frustrated with it, and I understand why. You go, well, look, whenever you have this unbelievable record in one-score games, you are, among other things, getting lucky. Like, it's also like injury luck, where like there are things that you can do as a training staff and preparing your body and whatnot, but sometimes freak injuries happen, and sometimes you lose a football game because your kick gets blocked and returned for a touchdown or whatever it is. Now, the other side of that coin is that you can look at it and say, well, they're not just lucky, they're also clutch, and they've been in these moments before, so they're more equipped to not make these mistakes late in games. And this year, they've made the mistakes. And again, not to bag on Travis Kelce, I think he's the greatest tight end of all time and has an incredible chance to start redeeming his season as this year goes on. But he has 2 just crushing mistakes, one hurting Xavier Worthy and then one tapping up a pick in week 2. Those are the types of things that switch what your record is in one-score games, because it really does come down to one moment, and can the defense in this instance capitalize. So all of that to say, I do think this is going to end up being one of those games where, again, kind of like we said earlier, I guess, maybe you're pressing or maybe you're tight, but it feels very likely that there's going to be one mistake in this game from one team or the other that's going to end up being the thing that we're talking about on Monday.
Brisco, you had, I'm assuming you listen to the press conference like the rest of us do. Did Andy Reid essentially admit on Wednesday that he's never benching Jawan Taylor? I thought when he was like, well, when he doesn't do the bad things, he's great, was essentially his way of saying we don't care about the bad things anymore. Even after the kind of dad talk from Matt Nagy a couple of weeks ago, that felt like a way to pacify the hey, we like what he does in the pass blocking. We are forgiving the penalties. I know he wouldn't ever put it that way, but the way he had said he's one of the best pass blockers in the league when he's not committing the penalties, I kind of took it that way.
I might have taken it that way if I hadn't heard Andy Heck yesterday, who sounded
Heck was pretty critical.
Really frustrated. Yeah, he sounded very frustrated, and in a coaching staff that constantly talks about what they have to do to get their messaging across or what they have to do.
Well, his job might be on the
players.
line. That might be why he's frustrated.
Well, yeah, maybe so. But whenever he was talking about Jawan Taylor, I think he said a couple of times, look, he knows what he's got to do. It's on him now. It's kind of saying, look, there was even the follow-up question about, have you, had different ways to approach Jawan and kind of get the message across. And I think it was Vahe who asked, and Andy Heck said, I'm open to suggestions. That was kind of a joke, but, and I don't hear Andy Heck make a lot of jokes at the podium. That was kind of even that was kind of noteworthy to me. All to say, I don't think the book is closed there, especially with Jalen Moore. You have an obvious answer that you didn't have last year. Last year, you could have said, what, you want to bench Jawan Taylor and start me? I don't think anybody wants that. This year, you do have the tackle who the Chiefs, at least at one point this offseason, the Chiefs were comfortable being the left tackle for this team throughout the season. So I don't think that book is closed yet. I think it might just be an issue of those compounding snowballing mistakes at some point. If there are a couple of penalties or a penalty and a bad rep or two all kind of happening on one drive, maybe then the ripcord gets pulled. I don't think that one's over yet, though.
Josh Brisco will be listening Sunday afternoon, 3 hours before kickoff, and of course post-game as well. We'll get you on a winning streak as well.
I'd really appreciate that. Also, another thing to tease, you can hear the one and only Cody Tapp, and I'm pretty sure Cody knows that, and if not, Cody, now you do. I'll talk to you on Sunday.
That's right. I'll be on pregame.
There you go. Your pregame this week.
Yeah, set a reminder.
Yeah, don't screw it up, man.
I'm not going to screw it up.
Coming up in about 15 minutes, our conversation with former Chiefs quarterback Alex Smith.
I know we're going to do Trash of the Day here in just a couple of minutes. You had asked earlier, you said, well, how many illegal procedure penalties does Clay Holmes call? I do have one bad news on that front.
More than everybody else?
His crew calls the most false starts in the NFL.
False starts? Mm-hmm. Not good news.
That seems like it counteracts the previous thing we just discussed.
Well,
his crew calls the most false starts.
It hasn't killed them, I guess, is what it is. It hasn't killed them.
I just the Jawan thing. I will say Andy Heck, and we don't air Andy Heck audio.
No.
As in,
there is full. But if you don't want to hear, we don't normally hear it in its entirety.
We can play it real quick. He was very critical of Jawan Taylor. He's just kind of tired of it. And kind of more in the way Nagy said it.
Now, when he's getting called, those are good calls. He's too deep. Your helmet's got to break the plane. I think, as a very prideful player, one of the things Jawan takes a lot of pride in is he's going to give himself every advantage that he can. He's going to be on that snap count, and what we're telling him is, hey, that's not necessarily an advantage every time. In fact, it can get you in trouble if you're too quick, you're too deep. That's creating too much space, and so. But he does take a lot of pride in what he's doing there.
If you're going to kind of try to get a little cheat code there, you don't have to do it every single time. I hope they don't catch you the one big spot you do it, basically, is what I heard. Also, he mentioned in a different cut that they've studied this, obviously, because it's been a problem for a couple of years, and they claim that there's 20 other offensive linemen that line up either just as deep or deeper than Jawan Taylor. That might be true, but man, you're the one that's getting called for it, so you got to figure it out.
Other people speed 2 years of this, right? Everybody speeds on the highway, but if you got 10 speeding tickets,
it's your problem.
Time to lay off the gas. Yeah, exactly. It's not that Drew doesn't speed too, but if I'm the only one getting pulled over,
let me tell you, Drew speeds. Let me tell you.
It almost sounds like, though, that going back to what we talked about the other day, it sounds like it's contradictory. Juwan's got a lot of pride in the way that he plays, but he also thinks that there could be an advantage. Well, he has to figure it out because
That's
it sounds
the pride.
like
He wants to look like a good player, and he thinks the only way to be a good player is to bend the rules.
Exactly, and it's like what you said. I think even more after Andy Heck just said that, Cody. It's more of what you were saying, and this is a Juwan Taylor problem. It's not an Andy problem. It's not an Andy Heck problem. It is. They're giving him the advice. They're telling him what to do, and Juwan is basically blatantly saying, "Nah, I got to get this advantage, so I'm going to line up the way I want to line up," which I think is he's bordering on getting benched because he's trying to do it the way he wants to do it, and it's not working, but he's still doing it the way that he wants to do it and trying to get whatever advantage he thinks.
And it's going to get him benched. I'm surprised they haven't tried to do the lesson moment where fourth quarter you get the penalty, get your ass out for a minute. Not like we're fully replacing.
They did that 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago, they sat him out for a drive or so. And that was at the time you thought was going to be the moment to shift it. And obviously here we are 2 years later, still talking about that same occurrence. We've all seen this enough. We all fully expect he's going to get called for illegal formation on Sunday. The question is it multiple times? And does it happen on a crucial third down when the Chiefs got to have it? That's the only thing that's up in the air. I don't think, to me, we going back to the conversation after week one, and we were asking, how long will they stick with Juwan Taylor? I said they're going to at least give him a month. Well, after the Ravens game, it'll be a month. And so this is, to me, a game in which it could finally sway the Chiefs. I understand what Andy Reid was saying, how they think the good outweighs the bad, essentially. Mm-hmm. But at some point, does it take a crucial drive late in the game where things are going great and it flat out costs them a football game? Is that what it's going to take? I hope not. But is that where we're at?
It's just what does it say to the rest of the team that I can lose my job for not doing it, but that guy can't?
Somebody on Monday, I think, mentioned something along the lines of it makes no sense how they will genuinely be okay with Juwan Taylor costing them yards, which cost them drives, but then as soon as you fumble one time, you're on the bench and you're never playing again for me.
He's benched two different players in the Carson Steele and LaShawn McCoy. Both fumbled a couple times.
And I know we know the embarrassing the veteran thing, but
we know the difference, though.
I think it is ridiculous to cost your team a drive, because if you cost your team a drive and then you fumble, it technically is the exact same thing. It is
I don't disagree.
The exact same thing, but the fact that Andy doesn't want to pull Juwan because they're paying him or because he doesn't want to embarrass him or whatever. He embarrassed Carson Steele last year, and he embarrassed LaShawn McCoy going all the way back then for benching him.
Yeah, I think that's something we've gone over multiple times. I think it's how they operate as an organization. It's it's way easier to bench Carson Steele, who has not done anything, frankly, to contribute to your Super Bowl success, and it's a different story to pull the trigger on benching somebody that has started and won Super Bowl with you as a starting right tackle that you are paying $20 million a year. At some point, the money and all that should not matter. But I don't think it's I get why we're comparing the two. I don't think they're comparable. It's very easy for me to bench a guy that was basically a practice squad player in the National Football League versus a veteran who we trade, who you signed and gave
an all-decade member. They benched him, but still, he was.
But he wasn't with the organization very long though. They weren't paying him $15 million a year.
And now we're at the point where it's not happening once. Like it did with Carson Steele, it's happening twice and three times. So much so they're expecting it to happen and they're okay with it. It makes no sense.
That's weird.
Yep, that's where they're at. All right, let's get to the trash.
Trash of the day.
Have you guys ever heard of something called skip lagging? Do you know what this is?
That's where you book a flight that has a connection going somewhere else, but you just get off at the first stop.
It's where you basically need to get from
cheaper, right?
Point A to point B, and then you see a ticket price of $800, but then you see another flight from A to C to A to city C, and then there's a layover in the city you actually need to go to. So you just get off the plane, and that ticket's maybe $300 cheaper or whatever. Anyway, in this case, a TikTok guy calling himself Daltex Tony claims he's been flagged by American Airlines for skip lagging, and so he's no longer allowed to fly with them. American Airlines contract of carriage does warn that passengers agree to complete the entire journey or risk punishment, such as having your ticket canceled. It's not something you're allowed to do. There was a website for a while that was setting this up for you, and I think they got in trouble, and I don't know if the site even exists anymore.
Look, in principle, I don't mind you trying it. And if you just do it one time, you're probably going to get away with it.
Probably.
But you also have to understand that, I also get that, that's American Airlines policy. And if they choose to not let you book flights anymore as a result of it, well, then such is life. You got to fly different airlines or apologize and say, I'll never do it again. I don't know, whatever you got to take. I do. Part
There's
of it is
still a
frustrating
website
because you're like,
called-
why am I paying less for more flights?
Well,
And you're like, well, we charge more for direct.
there's a site called skiplagged.com, and literally the front page of the site says, ridiculous travel deals you can't find anywhere else. Our flights are so cheap, United Airlines sued us, ... but we won.
But we won.
So they're still
Well, I don't think they're
operating.
doing anything illegal.
Well, the court said they weren't.
But it's just like, what's
there's
it?
a website that actually specializes in this. Like, there's one right now. Sunday, October 12th flight, Wichita to Dallas, Fort Worth. If you use the skip lag thing, it's $190 versus $391.
I mean, that's quite a bit cheaper. Next time I'm flying somewhere long enough, I might just do it once. Well, what's going to happen? They're going to ding me for the one time I don't get on the flight? Oh, no. I'll be like, I missed it. People miss flights. That's the other thing. They're never going to think you're guilty of it if you just do it the one time, Gold. People miss their flights all the time.
Yeah, like the example is there's a flight, I don't know why this is on Wichita, but whatever. Wichita to Dallas, and then it goes Dallas to Little Rock, Arkansas.
How many people are trying to get to Wichita?
I don't know.
Oh, Wichita to Dallas.
Well, technically the flight is Wichita to Little Rock, but in the skip line, if you need to get to Dallas, you can just not do the other end of the flight is what they're saying, and you save money. I've never done it. Have you?
No, I haven't. Tempting, admittedly. Very tempting. But this is the one thing. I don't mind you trying to get away with it. I also don't blame the company for banning you. You can't go on cry foul online for something that is against their terms of service.
Yeah, someone says, what if you have luggage? Well, that's the key with this. You obviously have to carry on.
Yeah.
If you're, you would have to
Hey, if you don't
carry
mind,
on.
don't send that bag to the final destination. I would just like it now. Yeah, it's a carry-on situation.
All right, up next, it's the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Former Chiefs quarterback Alex Smith joins us. We asked him about a 1-5 start he once had with Andy Reid, how they handled that, and how big is Sunday's game for both of these teams. That's coming up right here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Creed Humphrey. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Beautiful weather coming up in Kansas City this week. You want to be spending that time outside on your dream deck. All weather decks ready, willing to build your dream deck, the right deck at the right price. You can schedule a free estimate today by going to allweatherdecks.net and find out what kind of projects they can do for you. I've told you, it doesn't really matter the style. Fire pits are going to be really popular around the corner here in a minute. But if you've been thinking about that outdoor kitchen or just a new wood deck or a screened-in porch, which is my favorite place of my entire backyard, spending time out there, watching football on a Sunday, dream activity. If you've been thinking about this project and you have ideas, they can help you work through those. Or you want to see what project they could do for you that looks like others. You can see a map of their work and project pictures all over their website. So give them a call today for that free estimate, 913-206-1974, or online at allweatherdecks.net.
You're on the list for Macy's Fall VIP Sale. That means you're invited to save big on this season's top designer looks at prices you'll love. Like an extra 30% off Calvin Klein, Steve Madden, Hugo Boss, and more. Plus, get 15% off beauty and fragrance from Estee Lauder, Lancome, and so many others. This only happens a few times a year. Don't miss the Fall VIP Sale. Today, only at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Race weekend returns to Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway with over $60,000 in prize giveaways. Friday night, stay cool with the Pin Play app and pick up a 12-pack of Coca-Cola while supplies last. Saturday is the day of winners with a winner every 15 minutes. And on Sunday, win up to $2,500 in Penn bonus play with the Hollywood Casino 400 even or odd drawing. Find your fun at Hollywood Casino. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Football's back, and Underdog is the best place to select entries and win money all season long, and you can play right now in the state of Missouri. And playing on Underdog is easy. Just choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your entries right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. And you can play with as little as $1. I love the Underdog app, especially this time of the year. Multiple sports going on, combining entries from different sports into one selection is how I love playing on the Underdog app. So download the app today and sign up with promo code BOB to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5 with promo code BOB. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 and over and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/play and get terms. _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan, and the other place is your sports watching headquarters this fall. Now with 5 great area locations: Shawnee, Olathe, downtown Overland Park, Mission, and Belton. Enjoy Red Friday specials all day.
From Kansas City to the capital city, Washburn University is close. Sure, it's close to home, but it's also a close community where you get close to other students and professors, to incredible opportunities, from study abroad to internships and jobs, and where it's always easy to get close to the action. Get one step closer to your dreams. There's no place like Washburn. It's not even close. Learn more at washburn.edu/KC.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This sandwich, it's a complete game changer. Hello, this is Mike, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club is that juicy chicken with that toasty pretzel bun. That bun, it's crispy, cozy, just amazing. With the pretzel bun, the Dijon mustard, and the chicken, it makes that sweet, savory kind of combination. It's everything that you love about food rolled into one. It looks phenomenal. It tastes great. It's delicious.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
Your cold is coming. Your cold is coming. When you feel a cold coming, shorten it with Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand.
Oh, no, not before my big trip.
The big trip you've been planning is coming up, and so is your cold. But Zicam can shorten your cold and get you back to planning sooner.
Thanks, Revere.
We really should keep Zicam in the house.
Shorten your cold with Zicam.
Take it from America's most revered messenger. Shorten your cold at the first sign with cold shortening products from Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand. Available in stores or see where to buy at Zicam.com.
You could think you found your dream home online, but here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
It's Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances and save an additional $1,000 when you buy 4 select LG major appliances. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt max 5 amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt 20-volt max tool. Get the job done for less at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 9/26. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
You could think you found your dream home online, but here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's country song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Well, we're back here on Cody and Gold, and excited to have our next guest join us. The Crown Royal Rig is going to be coming to Arrowhead this Sunday, and of course, there'll be some familiar names coming to Kansas City. Tony Gonzalez, Taylor Rook's going to be out there to talk more about that. And obviously, this football season, it's nice to have A three-time Pro Bowler, former Chiefs quarterback, Alex Smith joined us here on 96.5 The Fan. So, Alex, it's great to have you on the show. It's been a little while.
Yeah, great to be back, fellas.
When you look at what you guys have going on this year for the Chiefs, like when you look at it from the outside, we always go back to when your team started 1-5. We've obviously referenced that as a way of like getting back into the playoffs. What is it like in an Andy Reid-led team that isn't living up to expectation early versus some of the stuff we're used to out of Chiefs teams before?
Yeah, a couple things. I mean, obviously you said it. This is like, this is the last time that this team knew, adversity this early in a season was definitely when I was lining up at quarterback. So it's been a while. I think a couple things, to think back to that 1-5 start, and I'd been around several head coaches at that point in my career. I'd had several bad starts to seasons before. And I just remember coming in, and I remember how calm Andy was. Like this, he wasn't panicked, right? And I remember how rare that was. I remember him telling everybody that he was going to be a little better, and the coaches are going to be a little better, and you guys need to prepare a little better, and we need to execute a little better. And it was just so much of like, you look around the league at all these teams that get off to bad starts, and we always see these drastic changes, right? People are fired, they lose their quarterback changes, or they lose their play calling abilities. And I think people so often do kind of rash things when they're under that kind of pressure. And I remember thinking how unique it was that Andy just seemed to have such amazing resolve, and he was so kind of immune to it, and how impressive it was. And again, it made the difference, right? Like the momentum is obviously such a big thing in the NFL. And if you can get one win, right? If you can, one scoring drive and kind of get some momentum going, and then all of a sudden you stack them, it can obviously have a powerful effect. I think the other thing is I think about this, currently the core of this current Chiefs team that's been together obviously these last several years and had so much success. But they've had a lot of adversity too, right? Like this isn't the first time that they've faced adversity. This is a team that has had, faced a lot of adversity, especially offensively, the last couple of years, and still found a way to overcome it. And I think they will lean on those experiences. And again, they haven't gone through this, 3 weeks into the season before, but it's still valuable experience that they will rely on, I think, to work through this.
I think that's one of those things that like stood out, like between like people talk about like the Andy or Travis thing, and we're always trying to decide, do we notice it more when things aren't going well? Is it just kind of part of it? Like when you have guys like Travis, and you were around Travis forever, it feels like he's like the ultimate, like I want to win no matter what. It feels like the frustration shows with some of those guys, but I'm assuming in the building it's not like that. That like when they're sitting in like every day-to-day stuff is very normal.
Well, yeah, when you get back into your routine, for sure. You just can't like sit in that kind of experience. I mean, even certainly I so appreciated Travis's like vulnerability and honesty, obviously after last week and the tough drop, right? That like kind of obviously was a defining play in that game. And it's a play obviously that, listen, he's he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest pass catching tight end of all time, right? But like he's not perfect. And I think true leadership, not just from him but Andy, like it shows up in the hard times, right? Like you don't really need it. You don't really need it when things are going well, right? Like when you're winning a bunch of ball games, there's not an opportunity for it. And I think for those guys to step up and to lead by example, when you're not having success, when things are hard, I think is even more important. I think that's again a valuable example for all the young guys on the team to look at. And again, is there a bigger star in the NFL right now? And for him, again, I think to be so real, again, is such a valuable, to have that on your team goes so far, right? I think for the entire roster to see that, like to him kind of taking accountability and know that he's going to be better and he'll do anything it takes to win, right? Like honestly, this guy doesn't care if he catches 2 balls and they win a football game and he has to block all day. He's going to be pumped.
Did you ever think, Alex, though, when you had Travis Kelce walk in the building, though, just that obviously not the off the field stuff, nobody could have, predicted this kind of stardom, if you will, but just on the field, what he's become and the success he's had. What did you think of him when he first showed up?
You don't want to know. No, I mean, listen, the organization was excited from day one, with being able to draft him. They were incredibly excited. I will never forget, like literally, I mean, I think the days after the draft, that we got a guy, right? We really think he's special and can be something. Now, listen, nobody can say that he was going to become what he has, right? The career that he has. Again, it's just one of one. But I think I knew how unique he was. And in so many different ways, right? Like I remember very quickly realizing this unique skill set, right? The wiggle, the basketball moves that we see at tight end. I think very quickly you could see that, listen, this guy played quarterback and he saw the big picture, right? Like very quickly, you could tell that it was easy for him to handle, like the different matchups he got, the different leverages he got, like what defenses were trying to do to take him away and how to counter it. Because I think he just had a great understanding of offense and defensive football. And then I think very quickly, obviously, what a unique teammate he was going to be, right? Again, he's so incredibly refreshing. He has so much fun. He has so much gratitude to be playing. And I think that's really unique. That can sound weird, but in a professional setting with expectations and contracts, and sometimes things can get heavy and hard. And Trav is always like every single day, just love being out there, grin on his face, telling jokes, having fun, dancing. And again, I think that this sounds like a small thing, but you appreciate it in the moments. And I know they'll be appreciating it even right now, right? Like, again, a lot of pressure to win and get back to, no one wants to start 1-3. But again, I think to have that every day, that kind of attitude does really help.
Has it been crazy from the outside seeing all the other stuff? Him and Taylor?
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. I mean, of course. Again, it just crazy. And again, even Kansas City, such an amazing town. But listen, this isn't New York, right? Like this isn't some big giant market team. Again, it's the Midwest, and just such an amazing fan base, and just to become kind of certainly America's team, to go on the run they've had, to see what Patrick's done, and then obviously Travis on top of that. Yeah, just never could have expected it.
Year to year, like we look at Andy's offenses in the last couple of years, they've been so much more like close to the line of scrimmage, not the deep pack, not the stuff we're used to, I guess.
Yeah.
Andy Reid-led offenses. Where do you think that's coming? Is it just offensive line play, or is that a huge part of it? Or, how much does it change year to year for Andy? Because we've seen more of it this year. Like, where do you think some of that, the closer to the line of scrimmage stuff is coming from?
I think this is the amazing thing about Andy Reid, is he just doesn't run a playbook. He just doesn't. There isn't like some playbook that he's running. And obviously, he grew up in the West Coast world, and they still use that terminology. But it is so fluid year to year about what his team does well, what's our talent, how can I put these guys in a situation to have success. And so you just continually see it morph. And listen, when the Tyreek trade happened, and obviously Travis is getting older, and those guys, you didn't have those two guys in their prime, and you weren't lighting up scoreboards and throwing for 50 touchdowns, right? Like, that's just not sustainable. So it started to look different, right? Like, how can we the ball efficiently, and certainly you saw defenses, I think, even countering it, right? They weren't going to give up the big play anymore, and you saw all the shell defense. And so this was an offense that all of a sudden started to incorporate more RPO, right? You saw a lot of the underneath throws and gun runs, and Patrick, it was still a way for them to obviously create some offense and move the football. And this became one of the most efficient offenses in football. It was weird to go from one of the most explosive to one of the most methodical. And again, I think that says not obviously a lot just about Andy, but the players there. And I think you're in a weird situation here these first 6 weeks, obviously without Rasheed. I think he's a guy that, listen, this is a phenomenal football player. I think that last year before his injury, you saw the season he was having, and obviously, missed the first 6 weeks. But I think when he comes back, that will be a huge boost for this offense. Obviously, Worthy coming back hopefully will help there as well. But I think they're kind of sorting out that identity here these first few weeks. We saw a little more under center last week, right? Trying to run the football, get downhill. Thankfully, Patrick wasn't the leading rusher for the first time of the season. But I think that's going to help with some of the play action pass and be able to push the ball downfield a little bit to some of these guys.
We're talking to Alex Smith here on Cody and Gold. You mentioned it right there. I was going to ask you, we know Andy Reid never is going to be run first, nor should they when you got a guy like Patrick Mahomes. But how important is it to get Isaiah Pacheco and get this running game going right now, especially as you said, when you're not having someone like Rashee Rice be a weapon for you?
Yeah, it's there's just so many variables. And listen, I work with Rex Ryan on Sundays, and he's like constantly talking about running the football, and I'm just like, listen, if you had 15, you wouldn't be running,
right.
And it's like so hard not to put the ball in his hands every play. But I think, again, there's a lot of things that mentioned obviously earlier, that this young left side of the O-line, right? Like in some ways getting under center, running the football, letting those guys get downhill a little bit helps, especially depending on their matchup, right? Like that Giants D-line they went against last week's a monster, right? And so, and is it a way all of a sudden to get some looks downfield and to play action and to move the pocket a little bit here and there? And so I think, do we see it again this next week? Right? Maybe, right? This is a Ravens team that's struggled to stop the run. Certainly saw, obviously, Detroit, get downhill on them in the run game as well. And so will that be there? Again, we'll see. I still think it's a work in progress. Obviously, Worthy coming back is a big addition, but I think the big one's when Rashid can get back.
Feel must win for both of these teams? Just knowing what they typically are?
It's like it's so crazy to say must win this early. Like, this is a huge game. This is a big game for both teams. Again, but obviously one of these teams is going to be 1-3, which is crazy. But a big football game here, week 4, right? And again, I think both these teams' sense of urgency will be maxed out. Yes.
Before we let you go, Alex, also we see another young quarterback getting an opportunity this week. Jackson Dart gets the start now for the Giants. We all know how involved you were with Patrick, and he gives you a ton of credit for his growth. I feel like, there's some people that feel like, sit a year is the path because of what you guys were able to do. Yeah. There's others that think, this is too early. What do you make as someone that was right in that feel around an organization that had drafted a young quarterback?
Well, yeah, and then even to go back to my year, I lived it. I started week 4. This feel like deja vu, right? Like I played a little bit week 3. Things weren't going well early, and then wham, you're starting. And I just, the real question they should be asking, and this is what's unfortunate, is like, is Jackson ready, right? Like and is the team ready around him, right? Like have we given him the best chance to go out there and have success? And instead, unfortunately, I feel like, listen, we didn't get off to a great start. We don't have any wins. Russ didn't play well last week, right? Like, let's just get him out there because of the pressure, because the fans were booing, because maybe the head coach is feeling pressure for his job. And that's just not how you should be making the decision, in my opinion, right? Should they sit 1 year? How many games? I don't think there's an exact number. I do think there's a lot of value, though, in Jackson watching guys go out there and prepare and play. They have this guy named Jameis Winston who's also played well at times in this league, and I thought maybe it would be an opportunity for him to go play a few games, and for Jackson to sit and watch another guy do it. I don't love doing it against the Chargers, right? You guys know this defense. This defense the last 2 years is a monster. It's one of the best in the NFL, and so. I'm not sure they've again are making decisions based on that. Like, how have we done everything possible for Jackson to have the best chance of success? It seems short-sighted. I love Jackson. This is a Salt Lake kid. His dad went to the University of Utah. I know him and his family. I'm obviously wishing him the best, and I hope I'm wrong on this. I hope he goes out there and crushes it. But it's hard. It's hard as a young quarterback in this league, and to go play this early. But hopefully they'll put a good game plan together for him. I hope he goes out there and feels like he can just run the offense and not have to be anything extra, right? You don't need to do anything special. Just go run the offense, be yourself, and hopefully he's not feeling the pressure to go out there and do too much.
Before you get out of here, Alex, tell us one more time about what you're doing with Crown Royal. We know Tony Gonzalez and Taylor Rooks will be at Arrowhead.
Yep. For fans, again, partnering with Crown Royal, celebrating their 5th year as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL. And the Crown Royal rig will be at Arrowhead this weekend for the huge matchup. Fans, come check it out. And there's a new edition called the Royal Seat. So fans will get a chance to win premium ticket upgrades, which is awesome. And again, obviously, there will be some cocktails there for anybody interested. But very cool. Obviously, I'm back to working on Sunday, so unfortunately won't be there. Fans will have to settle for this guy named Tony Gonzalez and Taylor Rooks. And they will be packing purple bags for our military, and fans will get a chance to come out and pack bags for them as well. It's a tradition that Crown Royal has been doing for a long time and is very, very cool. So, again, fans, come out. They'll be there. And again, can't wait for this game.
Awesome. Alex, really appreciate the time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.
You got it. Alex Smith, former Chiefs quarterback, doesn't do a whole lot of radio in Kansas City or interviews in general. So it was great to have an opportunity to get his insight. He talked about how calm everybody was in the organization back in 2015 and how Andy Reid, there was definitely no panic. I know we've seen on the sidelines the Travis Kelce stuff, but that's somebody that was right there in the organization as the starting quarterback after a 1-5 start, and then they ended up winning 10 regular season games in a row, or I guess 9 regular season games. Yeah, 10 regular season games, I think it was, in a row, and got things figured out. But the other part at the end we can get into maybe later in the fan club, talking more about the Giants and the Jackson Dart decision. I thought that was interesting how he kind of laid out the scenario, because we were wondering why Dart's starting against the Chargers. If you're going to make the switch, sure, but is the Chargers the right spot?
That's a really tough defensive front to go up against right away. And yeah, I would be if I were them. Pretty concerned about. I just don't like the way teams have been handling quarterback. I feel like it's just out of control, and this is another example of that. To be honest, Alex doesn't sound like he feels way different about it. It's like, put him in an ideal situation, not desperation. And what this is, and we all know it, because everyone's going to lose their job. Jackson Dart has to start, and that's really unfair to Jackson Dart and not a good position to put him in. But, I don't know, man. It kind of just is what it is.
That's why I would get rid of Brian Dable now. There's no pressure. Brian Dable was selfishly trying to save his job.
Yeah,
I don't blame him, but that's just what it is.
That's how it all works, yeah.
Tony Gonzalez is your favorite player growing up. You going to go out to the Crown Royal rig and say what's up?
We've had Tony Gonzalez on the show before.
He's your favorite player growing up?
He was. Yeah, and I don't know if I'll be stopping by the Crown Royal rig or not.
Probably shouldn't have a cocktail before.
I am going to cover the game for the station, so that might not be the best idea. Throw down a shot of some Crown Royal real quick before.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe you could just go. Maybe you could change your mind. They could upgrade your seats, and then you could just go and sit as a fan instead.
Yeah, Tony Gonzalez, Taylor Rook, going to be there at Arrowhead. I believe is what Alex was saying there.
Said.
But Alex Smith, people on the text line say it's good to hear from. It was good, and it's one of those weird things, right? Like, appreciated way more once he left, which is unfortunate, just because of how sports work.
Because you wanted to be better.
Because how sports works, and it's obviously worked out tremendously for Kansas City. And I think people's appreciation, though, of Alex Smith only increases over time based off everything that Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid have said about how crucial he was to helping Patrick Mahomes maybe get started as quickly. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes still would have had a great career. Nobody's saying Patrick Mahomes would have stunk, okay?
He's openly said on New Heights that he felt like he got too much credit.
Yeah, but, why maybe he had the success immediately, and learning how to go about their business. And then, obviously, I think everybody from Kansas City was really worried about Alex Smith and his own health after that scary situation in Washington with the leg and everything. And now he does a great job over on ESPN. So
the visuals on that documentary, man, his leg, it was like, I can't believe he got back on a football field. It's genuinely incredible he got back out on a football field. Some of the text line still doesn't like. Still have some ill will towards Tony G?
No, they're not. It's not ill will toward Tony G. It's love for Taylor Rooks.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
the text line's horny, not dismissing Tony Gonzalez.
I gotta relax, man.
What? I didn't say it. They were saying
No, I'm not talking about you.
Oh,
I'm talking about the text line. You guys gotta relax.
Yeah.
It's a Friday. They're just feeling loose.
She also is very, very good at what she does.
She is.
She's awesome.
Which is why she's
great.
Doing a prime for the NBA, I think.
I think that's right.
Well.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Yeah, she's been killing it.
So if you want to go see him, I guess go see him on Sunday. Look, I really do think his point there right at the beginning about how Andy handled these, like, it's like nothing changed. He's like, we're just going to, like, it was weird. He was speaking almost in the cliches he says in those media things, like, we're going to fix these little things. We're going to fix this couple of things, and then we're all good to go. Like, we're going to solve this problem, and we're going to figure it out from time to time. But Alex Smith, what's interesting is that's not the only 1-5 team he's been on. That's not the only bad football team he played for.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at it that way, he does know how teams handle those things differently, how they handle the adversity part differently. And he makes it sound like Andy's about as cool, calm, and collected as it gets when things don't start right. That's a really good thing to have in a head coach. An underrated thing, because normally we care about X's and O's and what they get out of a quarterback, and that part is important. The fact that they were able to win a lot of games despite the fact they started 1-5 that year.
Yeah, I think that's something that, as much as we've said the sideline stuff, you don't need to see every single week. In terms of Andy Reid, in terms of anybody on the coaching staff, yeah, this is where I push back on the true panic stuff. from the organization. Now you heard it from Alex Smith, but in general, you may have criticisms of current play calling. We certainly have had at times criticisms of how personnel is being used or whatever. But in terms of being even keeled and not overreacting to one loss or whatever, that's something I'm not concerned about when you have a coach and a staff as experienced as they are.
Yeah, I mean, they've been to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. If there's a team that doesn't need to panic, it is certainly the Chiefs, knowing their position. And the roster is not way different than a team that won 15 games last year and went to a Super Bowl. So do I think all of a sudden they're an 8-win team because they started 1-2? Or do I think they're an 8-win team if they start 1-3? No. They're just too good and poised and collected for that. They are dealing with major injury stuff. They did that last year too. And they're not, but the schedule's much tougher this time and they're paying for it.
All right, coming up next, we will get to what's trending. Then we'll talk more about what the script looks like for a win, what a loss would look like. And we'll also, a little bit later on in the hour, get to the Golden Locks, including an update on our Circumillions entry as a station. Next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
You've had those roofing problems, maybe the rain that just came through. Maybe you're worried about the snow or the branches that start dropping leaves, and you're like, is my roof okay? Get it checked out from Century Roofing. A company who's been doing roofs in the Kansas City area for 35 years. They've done over 30,000 roofs, and they're ready to handle those projects for you as well. Whether it be those hailstorms earlier in the year or other signs of leaking. Maybe you've just been hearing a drip. Maybe you've noticed a part of the ceiling that you're not as sure about. Don't let a small problem become a big problem. And don't trust some fly-by-the-night, knock on your door overnight roofing company. Trust one that's been in the Kansas City area for as long as they have, who will stand behind their warranty and will be around to stand behind it. They've done over 30,000 roofs. They can handle any material you might need, and they offer free roof replacement and roof repair estimates to make sure that you like the work you're getting done. Again, I thought I might need a replacement. I instead just got repairs, and they were easy to get in contact with, showed up on time, got the job done, and now my small problems stay small, so I don't have to worry about them in the long run. Schedule your free estimate today from KC-based and female-owned Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength. Go with CenturyRoofingKC.com and tell them that Cody sent you.
Hey, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. Build a customized renter's policy with American Family Insurance so you can protect your tandem bike on the go. Thief! Oh, he is struggling with that two-seater. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Some exclusions may apply. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hi, I'm Lacey, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. And yes, I'm actually a jeweler. I bring dream engagement rings to life every day in our jeweler's workshop. When I hand set your diamond into your ring, I think about creating a piece you'll wear for a lifetime. I pay attention to the smallest details and treat every ring with the same care and craftsmanship, no matter the size or price. Come check us out at your nearby store. Our engagement rings are made with love from our hands to yours, because a friend knows your love deserves the highest quality. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
After 40 years and more than 8,000 five-star reviews, Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter is your go-to company for home service needs. Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to rexbuyskc.com. That's rexbuyskc.com, and I look forward to working with you.
Tomorrow, you'll hear Kansas State football in place of the John Clay Wolf Show. But don't forget, you can still catch the show live on the John Clay Wolf YouTube channel. Sponsored by Give Me the VIN, America's best car buyer.
Today, we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission, to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
So, your small business is outgrowing your garage. You could go online, find a space, and get catfished. Or you could work with an agent who's a realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
It's Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances and save an additional $1,000 when you buy 4 select LG major appliances. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt max 5 amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt 20-volt max tool. Get the job done for less at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 9/26. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
So, your small business is outgrowing your garage. You could go online, find a space, and get catfished. Or you could work with an agent who's a realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
What's up, Kansas City? It's Nick Bolton. Tune in on game days to hear the play-by-play with Mitch, Danon, and Clean on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
Number one on What's Trending, it is a Red Friday in Kansas City. That's right, Cody. It's a Red Friday. You're
red.
finally wearing...
I don't fight Red Friday on Friday. We've all agreed to those terms.
Some of us on this show are wearing red. I can't say all three of us. Some of us. You guys can check out the video stream to determine who the third member of the show is not wearing red. But anyway, it's Red Friday. The Chiefs getting set to take on the Ravens. We're going to keep an eye on Andy Reid's press conference in the 1 o'clock hour today if he confirms playing status for a couple players. Although Xavier Worthy has been a full participant in practice the last couple days, all signs point to him playing and really his first, hopefully, full game of the 2025 season. The Chiefs, 2.5-point underdogs. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 96.5. The Fan pregame coverage begins 3 hours before kickoff with Josh Brisco.
Should get the official injury designation later today, but yeah, all signs definitely point that way. Next up on What's Trending, not so good around the rest of the league. Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin officially out for Sunday's game for the Washington Commanders. That snaps a 74-game start streak for Terry McLaurin, who had been about as healthy as they come. Jaden Daniels will miss another week, which means it will be Marcus Mariota for the Bills. No Ed Oliver and no Matt Milano against the Saints. So maybe, who do they have this week? The Saints, right? Yeah, they're like a 15.5, 16-point favorite.
The Bills?
Yes. Yeah. Against them. And the Bucs currently have 3 questionable. 2 that are good. Tristan Wirfs and Chris Godwin are both questionable. Remember, they haven't played at all this year for the Bucs, but Baker Mayfield also on the list of questionable for the Bucs on Sunday. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one as well.
Elsewhere on What's Trending, baseball wraps up, at least regular season, this weekend. Unfortunately, that means the season for the Kansas City Royals. They did win last night 9-4, a 4-hit day from Bobby Witt Jr., a 3-run home run for Vinny, and then Salvador Perez came up with 3 RBI last night to get him to 100 RBI on the season. The Royals trying to lock up a winning season at least with a series this weekend out in Sacramento. taking on the Athletics. Another late start this evening right here on 96.5 The Fan.
They're at 80-79, so they'll have to win the series in order to have a winning record. That's actually the first duo in Royals history to have a pair of guys hitting 30 home runs and 100 RBI. Salvador Perez and, of course, Vinny Pasquantino, who's up to 111 ribbies. Lastly, on What's Trending, Ryder Cup currently in action as the U.S. is at Bethpage Black. Not a great morning. Went down 3-1 in the morning set. The afternoon slate is now underway, so no points determined in that. So in the alternate shot format in the early going, the U.S. lost 3 of those skin matches and currently trail by 2 points.
Long ways to go.
That's what they said last year when they were immediately down 4 points and they got run.
Europe's got to get to 14. The U.S. has to get to 14.5, of course, extra half point because they did not win last time. Europe trying to retain the Ryder Cup.
That's what's trending.
Drew, a pretty bad start, man. Ryder Cup squad looking.
Have
you had that on all day?
Drew
have you been
walked
locked
in.
in?
Yeah, Drew walked into the building today, and he was watching it on his phone as he walked in the building.
Driving in your car with that on?
No, we've already had this discussion before. I'll turn on YouTube TV, but I'll put my phone down in like the compartment or whatever, so I can still hear the coverage.
No, we have had this convo before.
I don't trust you to keep it down.
You go and you can have the audio from a game, or in this case, the Ryder Cup, and you can have your phone in the cup holder or whatever, and just have the audio.
Golf coverage audio in the car, electric.
If I happen to be at a stoplight,
I believe him actually.
If I happen to be at a stoplight, I might.
That's the problem.
Take a look.
Here's the issue.
Because then Cody's behind you honking.
Here's the issue. You say you don't do it, and I can know what happened. Gold's got the football game on. He's got it on YouTube. He's got it down. He promises.
He's the one today.
And you said you do it too. and then Collinsworth was like, "Whoa, what a catch!" I know you're looking at your phone. Don't deny it. I know if they're like, "What a shot from Scotty!" You look. I know you look. You shouldn't be watching TV while you're driving.
I don't grab my phone. I don't grab my phone and be like, "Whoa, I gotta watch it right now." I'll wait a second and I'll pause it.
Yeah, see?
Or I'll wait a minute.
Until the next light.
Yeah,
and then he's checking.
Exactly. Until the next light.
You're not wrong. I would say, though, Cody is over here acting like he's never used his phone while driving in his life.
But I watch TV.
Again, you're acting like you've never used your phone while driving.
Well, I'm not. That's not what I claim. I've definitely used my phone while driving.
Text line. All of a sudden, Cody's against breaking the rules. We found the limit for Cody. Bank robbery, Cody's fine. ATM theft, he's fine. Cutting lines, fine.
Skip lagging, fine.
Stealing at Walmart, fine.
Nope. I didn't do that on purpose. That was an accident.
Okay.
Although I've made it clear, I'm not trained to be a cashier. If I make mistakes, that's not on me.
Mistakes.
That was a mistake. The time I stole the trash can. You think I'm on a list?
There is no mistake of stealing.
I didn't mean to steal it.
Someone says, what's the difference between looking at your GPS on the touchscreen on your like on the Ford F-150, the GPS is right there. It's right next to me on the F-150. It's right there.
There's a decided difference between the two, and I don't think we need to get into the details of what's the difference between watching television while you drive.
Please don't do this, texter. Someone says, I'm texting you guys. Please do not text the show and drive. Please do not do that. That's a terrible decision.
I'll text by voice in the car sometimes.
I've noticed that. I can see that pop up when you text me.
Does it say from his
Siri? It says sent from, using Siri or whatever it says.
Yeah, I use that. Mm-hmm. I don't have to take my eyes off the road for any of that. I just click the little button. Does it really say every time I send that it says sent
if it's from yours, it'll say.
If you use Siri to send it, then it'll say sent from Siri.
Well, they know I'm driving safe.
At least if you have an iPhone, of course.
I mean,
Team iPhone.
I do have an iPhone, but
someone's claiming that you took the leftover food from the leftover tacos.
I wasn't here. It was from 4 to 7:15. I think it's pretty established. We know that it's one of 8 people in the building. This one is not me.
Just call people out.
Yeah.
Name the person. Since you're calling everybody else out for stuff right now, let's go ahead.
Thank you. Who is it?
I don't want to start fights in this building.
Oh, but you have.
I have who I suspect it is. But I don't know that it's that person, and so I will not accuse them.
You said they're on this side of the building.
He said that they don't work at our station, so that really narrows it down.
So I pretty much told you I think it's one of like 5 people.
You think they stole all the leftover Mexican food that we had for a party?
Someone did. And there were only so many people in the building. JT gave us a timeline of the crime between 4 and 7.
Timeline of the crime. Were you going to eat the food?
No.
Why are you so angry?
Mostly I felt bad because the nice person who works downstairs seemed bothered that they were so selfish.
Okay.
And I don't think Joe deserves to be treated that way. One of the nicest people in this entire building.
Yes, I agree with that. Yep. All right, we will get to our golden locks coming up in about 8 minutes or so. But let's get into how the script has to go for the Chiefs. Text line 913-586-7965. The script if the Chiefs win, the script if the Chiefs lose. We'll do our final predictions in the Fan Club Friday 1 o'clock hour presented by Jay Rieger and Co. I think if the Chiefs win, so much of it is all about the offense. I think we're all in agreement. I'm not saying that Baltimore offensively will not have success. They will. But I'm confident in Steve Spagnuolo shutting down Derrick Henry. And by shutting him down, I mean hold him under 100 yards. And that is exactly what they've done. 2 out of the last 3 times a Steve Spagnuolo defense has faced Derrick Henry. They held him in check in the opener a year ago. But I also think if we're being realistic, of course, this formula of what it looks like for the Chiefs to win, it means the offense can not have these drives in which they sputter out very quickly in the first half. I think there is something to the confidence of the Ravens defense that they get if the Chiefs' opening drive of the game is a 3-and-out or it's a short drive. All of a sudden, Baltimore's thinking, okay, we can shut these guys down, something we haven't done against really anybody in 2025. For me, Xavier Worthy, what does it look like for the Chiefs to win? He cannot just be a decoy or something. He needs to be heavily involved. And maybe he's not.
Maybe it's 80%, 70% of the workload.
Sure, but he has to be heavily involved in the game plan. I tend to think he will be when we get official word this afternoon that he's going to play or won't be questionable or something like that. He has to be impactful in this offense. To me, they shouldn't really hold much back from him if he's playing in the game. That's part of what allows this team to get a win against Baltimore, if that's what it looks like.
Andy is typically, not always, sometimes he does kind of baby people a little bit, but if he's available to play, he's available. And I don't know why you wouldn't use him like a regular member of your offense. And you and I both know he was the biggest part of their plan for game 1 against the Chargers. That obviously went out the window. And he was the most heavily used wide receiver by the Chiefs by a mile in the final 6 to 8 games of the regular season. More than Travis Kelce, more than anyone else. They used Xavier Worthy a ton. I kind of think he's going to lead the team in catches on Sunday. This might be why I'm leaning Chiefs, although admittedly, this is not like for radio fodder. I'm very torn on whether to choose the Chiefs or the Ravens to win the game because I think it is a razor-thin margin. You're essentially asking me to predict which team accidentally makes a mistake because it might come down to just that or which team possesses the ball last and if that team actually comes through in the clutch. And if it's Mahomes, my answer would probably be yes. If it's Lamar, 50-50. Chance, I think he would in that spot. And so to win the game, I think they have to run the ball well. I think they have to use Xavier Worthy. And I do think that they have to stop Lamar Jackson on the ground. I think it's a really, really big part of them winning the game on Sunday is Lamar can't run for 80. He can't look like Lamar of the past. And not that he hasn't this year. He's been great. But he can't just run all over you. That part of it, I think, is really important. Because if he runs all over you, Gold, you're not getting off the field. The defense is giving up more points than normal. You don't get to possess the ball as much as you would like. All of the stuff that eventually run into problems. And so, I would just say in general, avoid that. Try to find a way to stop that. Zay Flowers get you. You had mentioned the tight ends earlier. They get you. I'll live my life.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson, by the way, just for reference, in the opener last year, the Chiefs, we all know, won. Lamar had 122 yards rushing in the in that particular game. So if we're just trying to figure out what that looks like. You know why it was okay that Lamar had 122? Derrick Henry only had 46 yards. That was a game in which Isaiah Likely absolutely tore up this defense. He's questionable, it looks like, for Sunday's game. He hasn't played at all this season. But we talked about the tight ends earlier in the show. I think that's an area to watch again. The Chiefs haven't really faced a good tight end yet in 2025, and that's an area they struggled against last year. I wonder if that comes into play. Again, I think it's pretty easy to find out what it looks like if the Chiefs lose, right? We can all figure out what that script looks like. Most likely it involves Derrick Henry not fumbling the ball and having 100-plus yards, rushing for the first time in 2 years against Kansas City. It probably involves the Chiefs offensively having a turnover, something that they have really actually done a pretty good job of. We all know that the Kelce drop that led to the pick in Philly. But for the most part, this hasn't been a start to the season 1 and 2 where they're turning the ball over 2 times a game or anything. No. It's actually been fairly clean in that regard.
Got a little close in the last game.
It did. It definitely did. But I think if they lose, it's once again that there's no running game established. You allow the Ravens early on to get some confidence. They're getting after Patrick Mahomes, something they did not do against Jared Goff. Remember, the Ravens did not sack Jared Goff once in the game, and Patrick Mahomes is far more mobile than Jared Goff is.
They're an interesting team. Somebody said, like, hey, the game plan's been the same. Shut down Derrick Henry and make Lamar beat you with the pass. And he's like, and he can't beat you with the pass. What's interesting, though, is, I mean, he is one of the best throwers. Like, that's an old storyline, in my opinion. Lamar Jackson is one of the best throwers of the football in the entire NFL.
He was better than Josh Allen last year, and he won the MVP.
I mean, he's legitimately great at it. He has 9 passing touchdowns, which leads the NFL to 0 interceptions. And look, part of that is because they're having to throw so damn much. He is completing 72% of his passes. Lamar can absolutely, and leading in yards per attempt, so he's throwing the ball down the field. So Lamar absolutely can torch you in this game if you allow it.
I still think, though,
they're very good in the passing game, you know? Like, he's been running for less than I'm used to.
Yeah, I would say this is not a Bill Polian take from 7 years ago that he can't throw the ball. But I will say if you're the Chiefs defense, you would rather Lamar Jackson have to beat you through the air than Derrick Henry running or Lamar running. And so I think that you can acknowledge that he's a very good passer, and that old take was dumb.
I just think it's a drive extender when he runs, and that's the problem.
I'm just saying you would still rather force Lamar Jackson to beat you through the air, and a lot of that has to do with the lack of weapons in the passing game.
Zay Flowers is very good, though. Like that to me is also like, I don't think that they have a tremendous amount of weapons outside of that, but Zay Flowers is one of the better wide receivers over the last couple of years. I'm not saying he's Justin Jefferson, but he's really good, and they have weapons, and they can score. I will say, to beat the Ravens, going back to that.
Yeah, he only had 2 catches last week.
I do think this will have to be their, but his previous 2 weeks were excellent. I do think he will have to be. 75. Yeah, well, okay, maybe not excellent.
Week 1, though. Week 1, he was awesome.
Yeah, week 1, awesome. And 7 for 75. I mean, I don't think we're knocking that. That's a 1,200-yard, 1,300-yard season. If you did that every day for like 150 catches.
Yep.
I do think when you're looking at I think this is going to have to be the Chiefs' best offensive performance. I don't think that they can just simply win it by what we're talking about, shutting down Derrick Henry and saying Lamar beat us through the air. I think this is going to have to be their best offensive performance. To this point, their best offensive performance is like, I don't know, the third quarter of the Giants game. Outside of that, there's not been, and well, you know what, they scored in the final 5 possessions of the game against Philly. So like they've had these spurts where they've played, Chargers. They've had these spurts where they have played good offensive football. Can you play 4 good, not great, 4 good quarters of offensive football? Hold on the ball, move it, score, those things. Not scoring every drive.
Well, if they play
be efficient.
If they play their best offensive game of the season, they're winning this football game. And I actually think if that's the case, they win, dare I say, comfortably, as in 6 or more points. I mean, I don't think they have to play their best offensive game to win. I think you go back to what happened in week 2 against Philadelphia. I think that's the style of game, once again, while it's frustrating for fans to watch, that's the style that leads to a victory this go-around for Kansas City. If all of a sudden the offense looks great out of nowhere because the Ravens' defense stinks or something like that, then nobody should be concerned at all if that's what's happening. I'm not convinced the Chiefs are having their best offensive performance of the season, although Xavier Worthy positions them to be more effective offensively. I just think it's like a no-brainer. If you guarantee me the Chiefs have their best offensive performance, which is not a high bar, admittedly, so far in 2025, then I think it's fairly comfortable win.
I do have a genuine fear that if it went like that you would have to keep scoring. Like if you got into a game, Gold, where you're scoring and scoring well, the Ravens can score with their backs against the wall, and you might get into a game where you're not allowed to mess up a drive offensively, and you're going to have to score the way the other 2 teams who beat the Ravens scored, which was nonstop and constantly. In a way, I would just prefer this game. If I had a dream scenario, this game is played in the low 20s. Like it is played in that range. Not the teens, that's too low. Not the 30s, that's too high. Low 20s, 23, 24, maybe upwards of 27, 20.
I would agree with that, yeah.
That feels like the sweet spot for a win for Kansas City, is that the teams are somewhere in that range offensively, because it also means limited possessions, long drives.
Well, that's the formula, I think, for Sunday. I will say that the Ravens, despite their 1-2 record, they have failed to just close out games. They had the lead late in Buffalo, Derrick Henry fumble. They obviously had the lead, at one point in time, even in the game against Detroit, and they failed to close out the game. That's been their problem. Can you force them to not even be in that spot in this game? Are they going to make a mistake for a 3rd straight game or second straight game in terms of not closing. It's not like Baltimore's been playing from behind much this year either. Can you force them to have to do that? That's where they haven't played. They've been pretty comfortable. They've been playing inside their own game plan for much. They just failed and made a mistake late.
If you're curious if the Ravens are going to get someone back, John Harbaugh did say that Isaiah likely practiced again today, but has also said in his presser that no determination yet has been made whether he'll make his debut on Sunday.
Kind of feel like he's going to.
He was a limited participant each of the last 2 days. It sounds like he did a little bit more today at practice. It does feel like he's going to probably make his debut on Sunday. And he was obviously a big problem for the Chiefs in the game last year. It's so crazy. That was more than a year ago. They faced each other in week 1 of the regular season last year. Do you know what has happened since then? It's just another weapon for the Ravens. That's all. And an offense that has not needed another weapon to this point, I guess, for what it's worth. Although Ronnie Stanley didn't practice each of the last 2 days. The Chiefs have not taken enough advantage of the bad offensive lines they've gone up against. That's been easily the most frustrating part. They've gone up against backup tackles and have not made enough headway yet. I'd like a game where they beat up on a team.
They're facing one that gave up 7 sacks to the Lions, so there should be your expectation should be at least probably 2 or 3 sacks, probably just based on how they've played. I think they've given up at least 2 sacks in every game.
Yeah,
the Ravens' offensive line has,
but the Chiefs have not been taking advantage of that.
And that's great. The crazy thing, that's with Lamar Jackson at quarterback too. And we know how good Lamar is at escaping.
You don't get
that's
sacked.
Impressive.
You don't get sacked 7 times without it being in large part also due to the quarterback and holding on the ball too long and all that, right? Like we can mention how an offensive line stinks. If you're getting sacked 7 times, that also means your quarterback's not getting the ball out and
unless he's just getting
receivers aren't getting open either.
Operational problem more than it is just the offensive line. 7 sacks is a crazy amount.
At some point, go max protect if you're a team. Like, yeah, that's not just a blocking issue. I agree.
All right, let's get to some golden locks heading into the weekend. We do this each and every Friday on the show. What do you like? Little Circumillion update real quick, too.
Oh, yeah. Where are we amongst how many people were in the entry? Like 5,000?
I think around 5,000. Myself, you, Dusty, Bink, Rob, Speck, all are part of this Circumillion entry. You guys know the story from week 1, unfortunately. Last week, 5-0. Huh?
Yeah!
Like
made
that.
It back up.
Everybody had a nice contribution to the 5-0 week with some picks. We are at a 5,900 and something place, okay? We're 953. Top 100.
So top 20%?
Top 100 get paid at the end. The new quarter starts after this week. There were 2 entries that are 1 in 14. If you're wondering for the last place prize, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of that. But now we're just trying to get going here a little bit.
We're about 500.
We have not determined our 5 picks, although there's some consensus. It looks like happening with a couple games. One game that I really want to be part of this entry for us this week: Green Bay -6.5. Sunday Night Football against the Cowboys. Micah Parsons returns to Dallas. He is reportedly going to get the most snaps he's had all year. They're going to fully unleash Micah Parsons against the Dallas Cowboys front. I'm excited to see that.
You see he's going to have a suite full of people, too?
Yeah, because he already had it. Give him a refund. He already had the suite. Yeah, he already had the suite. The Dallas Cowboys defense is atrocious. They made Caleb Williams look like a Hall of Famer last week. And the Packers, yes, did just come off a loss to the Cleveland Browns, which actually oddly makes me feel even better about this bet.
Yeah.
They got, to me, full of tension heading into this one with the Dallas Cowboys. So I like Green Bay -6.5. It's a larger spread, but it's still under a touchdown, so you're not worried about they need to win by 8 points. Win by a touchdown, and you get a cover. That's a game that I like. One you and I have been talking about throughout the day that now has shifted. It wasn't a game on my radar as much, but in the circuit contest, the lines lock before the injuries happen. So Atlanta on the circuit contest, we're getting as a 1-point dog against Washington. You mentioned the news during What's Trending. Marcus Mariota, Terry McLaurin not going to play on Sunday for the Commanders. So the fact that now Atlanta is a 2-point favorite, the fact we could get them at +1 as a 1-point dog, really like Atlanta.
Depending on which book you go to, right now, at one book, Washington's up to a 2.5-point underdog. So, you're talking about a 3.5-point swing for us, Gold, on Atlanta. We got to be at least tempted by that, don't we?
It's one that's on the list. I think if I look at our consensus picks for our contest, right now there's 2 people have Spec has Pittsburgh. Spec has Atlanta, Chicago, and Detroit. Bink has the Titans +7, Pittsburgh +2.5, Cincy +7.5. I told you I like Green Bay, Atlanta. Cincy plus 7.5 is one I would like to include. I think they're going to lose to Denver on Monday Night Football, but I think they can cover. You have the Giants plus 6.5 against the Chargers.
I think offensive line problems.
You
for the
also
Chargers.
like Green Bay minus 6.5. You have KC plus 2.5. And then there's a few other. Dusty's got KC, Chicago, Pittsburgh. Rob's got Tampa, Detroit, Minnesota. So I think the consensus, 4 of our 5 picks, I think, are determined. I think Pittsburgh plus 2.5, Cincy plus 7.5, Green Bay minus 6.5, Atlanta plus 1. I think those are all going to be included. The question is debating the final pick. But I do think the pick that scares me the most that I think we're going to go with is going to be the Pittsburgh plus 2.5 against Minnesota, because I actually think with Carson Wentz, the Vikings offense is more than capable against Pittsburgh.
I think, what's funny is, like, I think I'd be on the other side of that line. But that's the thing when you're, when you're working against each other a little bit, you got to kind of deal with that side of it.
No, we're a team, man. We're a team, all right?
I just meant, like, people are going to not have people are going to like other sides of the line sometimes. That's all. Like, Rob happens to like the other side. I might be on the minus 2.5 there. I do think we have to. I think sometimes it's just like, it's the smart play to say that other books we're just essentially being given 3.5 free points that we don't have in other spots considering Atlanta. That feels like the kind of game I'm supposed to take just because of that, because the lines lock at a certain point and then Circa doesn't change them for the contest picks. Not on their book, but doesn't change them for those. It just kind of feels like what we got to do. I'm going to end up switching one. I can feel it.
That's a little look at some of the lines for this weekend. The Golden Locks, trying to see if we can't keep the 5-0 momentum going from our Circa contest entry last week. Up next, let's talk a little bit about something that we haven't heard much on. That's the old stadium front. The governor of Missouri had some comments yesterday. We'll fill you in on that. Plus, we'll get to the random question of the day right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Football in full swing, and Underdog is the best place to get in on the action. Look, you can play right now on the Missouri side over on Underdog and make those selections very easy. You just choose which players will go higher or lower than stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. I think Gold mentioned it earlier. I think higher than Isaiah Pacheco on his rushing is going to be very high on my list this weekend. And so you could be making those entries, win up to 5,000 times your cash, and make those selections with me. It is a fantasy game and a skill, and you can be a part of it over at Underdog. And again, make those selections on the Missouri side. So download the app today, sign up with promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $100 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms. _DFS_.html for details. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Gear? Check. Snacks? Check. Tires? Not so much. I didn't have time to deal with this, so I asked my friend. Her answer was simple. Take it to Telly, she said, and I'm so glad I did. They didn't just take care of my tires, they took care of me. We got you, they said, and they did. Fast, friendly, and stress-free. Now I know when life throws you a red card, take it to Telly. Stay in the game. Take it to Telly.
This is Creed Humphrey. Kansas City has the best fans in the world and the best bull riding team in the PBR. The Outlaws are looking to win it all this year, but they can't do it without you. I'm the chief of Outlaw Attitude, and I need you to pack the house. So buckle up and make some noise. The Outlaws are coming, and we know KC will be there with us. Come see Kansas City's next dynasty and join me at PBR Team Outlaw Days, October 3rd through 5th.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Are you ready to fire up your Saturdays? Well, FanDuel has got a boost that you don't want to miss. It's called Boosting with the Boys, and it's giving everyone a college football profit boost every single week. Here's how it works. Each week, we're giving everybody a profit boost to use on college football. No opt-in gymnastics, no invite-only nonsense. Everybody gets the boost. We're talking real games, real teams every Saturday with an extra payout on the line. It's fun. It's easy. It's only on FanDuel. So go to FanDuel.com. Use the promo code KFNZ to get started on the app and check out the Boostin' with the Boys offer and get in on the action. And remember, FanDuel has got a boost that you don't want to miss. It's called Boostin' with the Boys, and it's giving everyone a college football profit boost every single week. FanDuel is an official sports betting partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit KSGamblingHelp.com. It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan and the other place, especially with these great game day specials. 8 wings and a basket of tots for $12 plus $4 domestic OP cups. The other place, the next best thing to being at the game.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
there's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
eBay has reinvented vehicle buying. From click to curb, everything's covered. Ever try to buy a car online and end up in a parking lot with a stranger and some blind trust? That era is over. Now with Secure Purchase, eBay isn't just where you find your car. It's where you buy it, start to finish. Title, financing, registration, delivery, it's all built in. This is the modern way to buy your next ride on eBay. eBay. Things people love. Secure Purchase is powered by Caramel Dealer Services, LLC, an eBay subsidiary.
If Old Spice Deep Sea Super Hydration Body Wash were music, what would it sound like? Start with the deep sounds of Old Spice's ocean waves and kelp. Layer on the smooth, renewing moisture. You wouldn't hear any parabens or phthalates because Old Spice Deep Sea hasn't got any. But you would hear that vitamin B3 for healthier looking skin. So while your regular body wash sounds like this, Old Spice sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tulsa is my home now.
Academy Award nominee Sylvester Stallone stars in the Paramount Plus original series, Tulsa King.
This distillery is a very interesting business, and we gotta know the enemy.
From Taylor Sheridan, co-creator of Landman.
What are you saying? I'm a rat! If you think you're gonna take me out, it's gonna be really difficult.
Tulsa King, New season now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories and the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
We're a half hour away from Fan Club Friday here on Cody and Gold. Fan Club Friday presented by Jay Rieger & Co. Cody's already in the process of getting some of the cocktails ready. Today's cocktail, Negroni. More on that coming up in a half hour. We'll tell you about a cool event that folks over at Jay Rieger are doing as well, Negroni versus Martini. We have 2 tickets to their social celebration that's going to be going on tomorrow night from 5 to 7 o'clock. We'll tell you a little bit more about that at the Hey Hey Club with couple
Love
of
the Hey Hey Club
legends in the field there, the beverage industry, I should say. Tom Nickel and also a New York Times writer going to be there. Negroni, martini cocktails, plus of course some paired up bites, a lot of stories, insights, the ultimate cocktail debate, Negroni versus martini. That's going on coming up tomorrow. So we'll have a pair of tickets to give away during Fan Club Friday. Jay Binkley going to be our guest as well.
I pulled him some Oktoberfest.
You don't think he's going to go Negroni today?
Look, I love a Negroni. No complaint about it, but I pulled Binkley some Oktoberfest.
Smart decision.
We treat our guest appropriately.
That's true.
Rieger won't complain, I promise.
That's very true. So we're looking forward to a fun Fan Club Friday. We'll give our game predictions in that hour, and you'll also hear our conversation, if you missed it, with Alex Smith. He joined the show at 11:30, but if you missed that conversation, we will bring that back around 1:30 today on the show.
When we look at the stadium front, felt like it's gone a little quiet, Gold, and yet, here we go. Let's fire back up. We're almost to October, which means we're 2 months away from when we think things will start kind of ratcheting up on this end, and the Missouri governor is already putting it back on the city once again. Here we are once again. When's the recall for Frank White, the recall vote? Isn't that like today, tomorrow?
It's
pretty
coming.
soon,
It's coming up. Now, you're right. The 2-month thing, people have thought about that only because if you believe the true deadline, Kansas claims, the Star bonds, December and it's done. You and I have said, you're telling me that if things fell apart in March or something that you wouldn't allow them to still utilize it. Anyway, so that's what's going on there. And then, Mike Kehoe, the governor of Missouri, yesterday, this is an article from Fox 4, our friend Jonathan Katz, who's done a great job covering a lot of the stadium stuff. He had some quotes from Mike Kehoe, and here I'll just read a few of them. He said, quote, "I think the Chiefs are definitely interested in making sure that along with the state's package that we did in a special session early June, that Jackson County comes through with the piece that will be needed on their end." He basically is putting pressure on the Kansas City leaders to finalize this plan to keep the Chiefs in Missouri. He did hint as well in this article that a decision on the stadium could come in the next couple of months, although as we know, the team has not really ever committed to a formal timeline. There's been multiple timelines. In the same article, it did mention, though, the Royals, which this one seems a little more complicated now. While the Chiefs would need a public vote in Jackson County, we know the Royals and the rumors about the Washington Square Park site, it mentions that the old Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas City headquarters, remember they've moved, and now that was the Washington Square Park site, there's a new owner of that building, of that property. Now, the mayor, Quentin Lucas, was asked by Fox 4 if he thinks the purchase of that property means the Royals are no longer considering that site. The mayor said, quote, "Not at all. We're proud to welcome Crane, who's the new property owner, to Kansas City. Having already built a strong relationship with City Hall, we know Crane will work closely with the city and all other entities as we build out the future of the former Blue KC offices in the Washington Square Park area." Look, overall, this isn't a huge change from what we've been hearing. The pressure and the decision is not only on the teams, but it's on leaders in Kansas City. But as we said, I think 3 weeks ago, when we discussed kind of where we're at on the stadium stuff, at some point it's like, man, everybody's sick of this like back and forth. Somebody at some point come out and either make a decision or say, hey, point blank, instead of this behind closed door stuff, point blank, it is blank's fault why we don't have this done.
They're all going to blame each other if it ends up not where they wanted in Missouri.
Is it the Chiefs holding up the Royals? Are the Royals holding up the Chiefs? Is it the mayor that's screwing it up? Well, by the way, I don't know who it is. I'm just saying at some point, just say it. Let's just move on instead of this. Well, we think we're close and we're looking at everything that's best. This thing has been dragging on for 3+ years. In April, it will be 2 years since the failed vote.
2 years since the failed. What's taking so long? Some of this is an unwillingness to just shift real plans, because this has always been the part that's fascinating to me, Gold. And a lot of this speaks, it's very true. Neither team really wants to go to Kansas. Let's just be honest here. They don't, like, that wasn't ever and has never been their first choice. So whenever they try to spin it, because I do still think one of them will end up in Kansas, at least, they'll spin it as, no, we loved it this whole time. Nuh-uh. They offered you the money a billion years ago. It's been 2 years since your failed vote. If you wanted to go to Kansas that bad, you could have taken their money by now. You would prefer, and I still think Clark would prefer, to renovate Arrowhead. I know for borderline a fact they have plans for a different renovation for Arrowhead. I don't know if they're going to present those or not, or if that'll ever be presented, knowing the fact that they're still going to have to get Jackson County to put another thing on a potential ballot in the spring. The part of this is like, at some point, you're going to have to announce what you're doing here. You're behind everyone. You'd mentioned the Denver Broncos started their process like 2 full years after the Chiefs and Royals had started their process.
I understand.
And they've already announced a site.
And theirs is, if not all, primarily, they claim it's entirely privately funded. I still haven't seen like the specifics if that's 100% true. But either way, they started later and they're ahead of the curve, and they're planning on opening their stadium in 2030 or 2031, which is the exact same timeline that we've been discussing in Kansas City for years now. But at some point, I'm not saying if they were to get this thing resolved in the next couple of months, they still can't have a new stadium in 2031 if that's what they choose. They could, but you're running out of time to hit that deadline. You really are. At some point, there's a huge process of,
it's 2025. The Royals have to start building their stadium the next year.
It's 2026 in like 3 months.
Yeah, I know. And they better get rolling.
Less than 3 months.
The thing is, the Royals aren't, like, I could see the Chiefs because they actually do want to renovate. Wouldn't surprise me, right, Gold? They feel like they might got time because I think they'd rather stay there. And I think it'd be easier for them to extend their current lease if they needed a few years, even if they were moving out. I think they'd charge them an arm and a leg, but the Truman Sports Complex would find a way to keep them there for a brief period of time longer. I don't think the Royals want to be anywhere near that parking lot by the time 2030 hits. I think they want out. I think, and the original timeline for these stadiums, you remember, was 2028, right? When they put on the vote goal, we could have been 2 years away from a brand new downtown Royal Stadium.
No, see, that's it was like
2028 when they first talked about it, wasn't it?
Well, not the April vote. The April vote was not to have a stadium ready in 2028.
I thought it was.
The way bigger announcement back in like right after COVID or before COVID or whatever was initially, but not the vote from not last April, but the April of 2024 was not to have Arrowhead renovated by 2028.
Not Arrowhead, Kaufman, whatever.
And not to have I don't believe the downtown ballpark would have been ready in 2028. I thought that was also a 2029, 2030. Maybe I'm off on the timelines. We've gone through this.
I think it was a little bit earlier on the initial one. I mean, we're definitely pushed into the later timeline now, so it definitely doesn't matter. And it's crazy to be two years past the failed vote, and we don't even know where they're going. They have not even announced to anybody where either people are trying to put their stadium. That's weird. That's taking way too long. And I'm not pretending like I saw Frank White's recall vote is on September 30th, next Tuesday.
Okay.
So we'll find out whether or not Frank White gets recalled from his position as Jackson County Commissioner. And we understand some of the issues that have taken place between the council, him, the teams, people just not wanting it because they had a chance to vote for it and it got whipped in the vote process in Jackson County. It was not particularly close. And so I understand why you had to like sit back and reset and do all that stuff. But if you wanted Kansas's money, wouldn't you have taken it by now? Gold, they've had a million opportunities to take it. They keep hoping Missouri is going to have a better offer. And they probably don't.
Unless
again,
this goes back
a better offer by now.
Unless this goes back to at some point, if there's an issue, then come out and say it. Is there, not the full story of the Star Bonds, or is the full story being told? Is the full story out there? Are they skeptical that the Star Bonds are exactly what they are presented as? And I'm not saying they are, but what is it? Because as you're saying, that's been on the table for quite some time now.
Yeah.
It's because ultimately, I think the Royals' initial plan always was downtown baseball.
And yes, and but
then it turned into like inner, around downtown. Well, obviously the site on 119th and Knoll is not around downtown.
It's not even close.
It's the suburbs.
Yeah. And look, they've always cited the battery, and the battery's in the suburbs, so they can, I'm sure, spin it in a way that makes sense for them. I'm just saying, like, don't believe either if they were like, we always loved like excited to go, happy to take their money.
See, that part to me doesn't matter at the end.
I just want to know where it
who
goes.
cares?
Sure.
I mean, like we say that. I mean, that just
don't
happens.
Like when people say that, but
that just happens that happens when a team drafts a quarterback too. Like they're not going to come out and say, we really like that other guy, but we'll make it work with this guy. Of course, they're going to be excited. They're not going to. Any business that does it hires a new CEO. Is like, well, we wanted the 5 other candidates, but this will work too. Like
this guy's fine.
Like. ABC's like, well, we really wanted to hire this guy to broadcast our college football games, but this guy will work too. No, they presented as that was their first choice, and they're very excited and yada yada yada.
I'd like a little honesty in life. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Let's get to the random question.
Random question.
Random question of the day brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, we live stream the show all 4 hours. So if you want to see the cocktail we're making later, you can. Live streamed coming up on YouTube and Twitch. Obviously, just like and subscribe. Pops the top of your feed. Super easy over there. We're trying to get a growing number of followers over there. We've been, it started like 600 people when we first started doing this video stream. And we're well over 4,000. So please, come join us. The random question I have today is a classic would you rather. I like putting you guys in a spot where you have to choose between 2 good things, I think, in this case.
Oh, all right.
Would you rather, Drew, Alex, text line 913-586-7965. Would you rather never get sick again? Not so much as a cold, a sniffle, an earache. I mean, you'll still die. It's not that. But, you're not going to, feel sick. I wanted to make it clear you didn't think you were just, living forever because eventually it gets the better of you. But, you're not going to get, a cold or those kinds of things. Or never have to do a house chore again for the rest of your life. Nothing inside. I want to specify.
This is easy.
Inside the house. This doesn't include lawn care.
Yeah. This is one of the easiest questions. If the outside, stuff is taken out of it, and it's only chores inside, then it's never being sick. As someone
How often do you get sick, though? You're not, overly sick.
Yeah, but, this week, and I talked to Fesco about this week, congested this week. This includes allergies, by the way, too.
This is a tough time to ask you about sickness because you're actively sick, which means you're not.
My right ear, I cannot, it is very clogged up or something, and I need to get some Sudafed or whatever. But point is, never being sick is an easy answer.
I genuinely don't think I've ever taken Sudafed a day in my life, and maybe I'm missing out. Yeah. I don't take any decongestants or flu that. I don't take any medicine.
So if you get sick, you just suffer through it then.
I guess does it really help?
We've talked about this before. I think Cody is a carrier. He doesn't have the symptoms. He carries it and spreads it to all of us.
I don't get sick. I don't get. He thinks that, but I don't get sick very often.
You're not symptomatic.
I'm not. I am asymptomatic oftentimes when ill. Drew, which one are you choosing? You choosing sick too?
Yeah.
I'm choosing house chores.
I'd rather have good health over I'd rather have good health in exchange for doing.
You're telling me
chores.
Agreed.
No more cleaning up dog hair. No more doing a dish. No more laundry. I'll get sick. I'll deal with it.
A
couple of days of rest. I get way more additional days of rest by getting rid of all of the interior parts of my house than for the 2 times a year I get sick. I don't get sick enough to justify it. Look, maybe I'll regret this at some point, but. If you're telling me that all of the houseware is gone, I'm in. Again, you're still going to die. I'm not trying to make it seem like
but you can not get sick. This also means other more serious illnesses and diseases and everything. Yeah, this is a no-brainer. No-brainer. You trade out
a couple people on my side.
The sickness.
Never have to do a house chore again in my life. Someone did ask if this includes diarrhea as far as illness goes. I believe
all
so.
of it. All of it. You never
counts.
You don't have any of this stuff ever again.
Is that the swing vote for you?
No,
text
all
line?
of it.
I'm just saying, is that the deciding factor?
No hangovers.
How
all
often
of it.
is that happening?
All
for
of
you?
it. No hangovers on top of it.
You want to? Yeah.
Hangover's tough. Does that count as sickness? That's self-induced. I don't know if that one. You might still get a hangover in my hypothetical. I'm not sure you're just going to be written.
Someone says this just means Cody wants to be lazy.
Someone says if your house is clean house might help prevent the sickness naturally.
Yeah, there's no direct link that says you clean your house, you don't have diarrhea. Someone show me that study, please.
I'm just saying it's less likely if you keep a clean house to get ill.
It is sort of self-induced. Diarrhea could be kind of self-induced.
Yeah, don't wash your hands well enough or whatever.
It can be.
That's all.
What you put in your body,
It actually is a little more split than I thought. Someone says, who does the work in your house? Did you just give all your work to your wife? I said, no, I just said I don't want to do all those things. Obviously, if my wife just did all the housework, then I'd just be like, I guess I just won't get sick. She can keep cleaning the place. That's not how it works.
You have said that you want a robot to cut your lawn.
Yeah.
So that's.
And look, I don't mind some, like, generally speaking, it's not like I dread every time I have to do a dish. But, like,
That how much you cook, I would hope not.
I'll tell you right now, the first one I'd be happy to get rid of his laundry. Between
See, this is the difference
people,
between kids and not, because for me, laundry, I have no issue doing laundry.
At the end of the week is probably 3 full baskets worth of fold, wash, clean, put away. It takes forever. It is the longest chore in the entire house. It is longer than vacuuming. It is longer than dishes. It is longer than any of it.
But if you're sick, you're just miserable when you're sick. Well, it doesn't matter what you do.
This is where the
it's just
answer,
an excuse to sit around for a few days.
This is where the answer is different.
No.
As someone that doesn't have kids and it's just me, cleaning the apartment is not a big deal. I'd rather just never be sick.
It seems like the people who get sick less are happy to get rid of the house chores.
Well,
they're
sure.
like, I get sick like once every 2 years. I'll take. It's like generally speaking, the people who get sick less are voting that particular side.
Someone says from getting sick from their kids' daycare. See, that's the thing. If I spend time around my nephews, it's not, that's when I tend to, I feel like I end up getting more sick. My sister's a teacher, so if I'm near her, I feel like I'm basically around like 100 kids at the same time. And so I feel like that's how we get sick. Cody's kids are now back at school. He doesn't want to admit it, but I honestly think sometimes that's also what prompts other people to get sick because he's around his kids. He comes in the office. It's just life is how it works. All this is it's all contributed to that.
I got to start getting, I think we're probably in prime chore chart territory.
Oh, see, this is there. See, problem solved for you, Cody.
Maybe I wiggle into that. Although, again, some of it is just like, if I asked my 7-year-old, like, hey, you want to fold this laundry and put it away? It'd go horribly.
Teach him.
Teach him how to do it better. What if I got him one of those little plastic things like they work in a department store?
Perfect.
To fold the shirts. How do I feel about that?
At least
that seems like it'd be fun for them, maybe, right?
Well, I don't know about fun.
We all had to do.
Fun is
more fun than folding it regular.
Growing up, my brother, sister, and I, we would have to like draw straws, and then we would pick what chore we did. It could be anything from
What's the one you hated
to
the most?
dusting. I enjoyed vacuuming more than anything else.
Yeah, same.
Probably doing dishes was, I think, the worst one.
Dishes.
Now I have like entertainment. Like when I was a kid, I hated the dishes, but now I can just listen to music or. I couldn't have
of course.
the CD player. I don't care. It said anti-skip 8 seconds as many times as you want. You couldn't have like a CD player on your hip doing dishes. That thing had skipped so many damn times. The anti-skip thing never works.
Right.
Now I can just put an iPad up and put a show on while I do them. I don't care. Dishes don't bother me that much. Laundry does. Laundry takes so long. Or cleaning up toys or a million other things. My kids yesterday, there's in my daughter's room, and I made them clean it up, but in my daughter's room, when she was like getting ready to go to bed last night, there were 50 however many she has. Every single stuffed animal they own was on the floor because they held a funeral for a balloon that had popped at my son's birthday party. It was the number 7 balloon. They did a eulogy. My daughter wrote it and my son, but the stuffies were everywhere. You're telling me I don't even have to like direct someone to clean it up or help? No, they're just like, it's just picked up. I'm in. It was quite the moving service, by the way. She wrote stage directions in there, which he did not understand at first. So it said, "Dearly beloved, the 7 balloon has died." She called it a dead box, not a coffin. She said, the 7 balloon has died. And then he read it, because he read it word for word. She wrote it, and he said, "Cries?" And she's like, "No, you got to cry. You got to cry."
She scripted out the whole...
She scripted out the whole thing.
You just said it was a moving...
Real moving ceremony, Lots in attendance for the balloon.
Oh,
I have video of it if you guys want to see it. Someone said, once again, kids ruin everything.
Sounds like it.
I mean, they just makes life more work.
I don't know about that.
They ruin everything. Some things are harder.
I'm not anti-kids, but it definitely seems like
it sounds like your kids were very they felt bad for the balloon.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to something I felt bad for yesterday.
Then they spent like 3 minutes just yelling why.
Yeah, I don't know what's weirder, Drew. The 9-year-old's doing a fake funeral, or you.
I feel bad for the eggplant.
That was.
Do you still feel bad?
Yeah. I feel sorry for the eggplant.
That's the random question of the day.
I do. I still feel the same way. As a matter of fact, I thought about it when I did not pose it.
You thought about it more as you drove home?
I did not pose the question.
You were thinking about the eggplant.
To my place. But I know I was at the grocery store, and I happened to come across, I happened to pass by, and I was like, Look at this vegetable. It is lost.
He wants a T-shirt where it's just like
it's
the poor eggplant. Like he wants a Sarah McLachlan style commercial, but instead of like people starving or animals starving, he just wants like photos in black and white of an eggplant being misrepresented.
That's the best way to put it. It's been misrepresented.
Okay.
It's a terrible vegetable, by the way. And I'm pro most vegetables. Awful one. One of the worst. It gets mushy too quick. Taste awful. Generally bad vegetable.
I've only had eggplant like a handful of
I don't
times.
think I've had
That's it,
eggplant before.
After all this, he's never
He's
even consumed it.
He's a defender over there, and he's.
I don't have to eat it to feel bad for how its name for how its likeness is.
Please play that Sierra Leone Kids charity.
We don't have that anymore.
I don't know. That used to be like
It was accidentally in the
secretly
system.
hidden in the trash of the day. What was that for?
I don't remember what it was. That's a throwback to like 3-4 years ago.
That's a great call. That got accidentally played by every fill-in producer for like 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have that anymore. I'm sorry, Tex
Someone
Line.
says we should be apologizing to the OG, the banana, not the eggplant. Actually, fair enough.
I'm just saying, like, but you don't send a banana emoji to his point if you're making that point.
No, but
Correct.
that person's saying that was the OG before.
Oh, I see. The real life.
Do I feel the same way about peaches? Somebody asks.
It's a good point.
That's
a pretty good point.
That's a really good comeback, actually. That's a really.
And the peach is a great fruit.
Peaches
I
are
know.
great.
Peaches are
Standalone.
wonderful. Peaches
Who
are
Who
wonderful.
doesn't like peaches? Yeah.
Some people.
All right. Should we have Binkley come in?
Yeah,
Make some drinks?
let's get his thoughts on all this. Fan Club Friday, presented by Jay Rieger, begins. We'll talk more about this Chiefs-Ravens game and a little update maybe from Andy Reid as well. That's coming up right now on 96.5 The Fan.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Ready, Set, Ford. That's what Shawnee Mission Ford is all about, bringing meaning to Ready, Set, Ford. They offer their customers the largest discounts on every new vehicle, along with aggressive rebates and that top trade-in value. And if you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, you're in luck over at Shawnee Mission Ford as well, with over 100 pre-owned vehicles to choose from and at prices and terms well within any budget. I've been driving the Ford F-150 from Shawnee Mission Ford and looking forward to this weekend. The weather is already awesome outside, but one of the features that I hadn't used the last week or so, just with some of the rain in the area, was the sunroof, and it's one of those panoramic sunroofs as well in the truck on these gorgeous drive home after work. Looking forward to that today, not to mention the ventilated seats. It's interesting. We're in that time of year now where in the morning I'll have the heated seats on, and when I drive home I like the ventilated seats. It has both of those in the Ford F-150 from Shawnee Mission Ford. And you guys know, if you're looking in a new vehicle, if you want to check out some of the features, where do you go? Where do you test drive a vehicle? The answer is simple. It's over at Shawnee Mission Ford. Shawnee Mission Ford is on a mission to do more.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Hey Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
You're on the list for Macy's Fall VIP Sale. That means you're invited to save big on this season's top designer looks at prices you'll love, like an extra 30% off Calvin Klein, Steve Madden, Hugo Boss, and more. Plus, get 15% off beauty and fragrance from Estee Lauder, Lancome, and so many others. This only happens a few times a year. Don't miss the Fall VIP Sale today, only at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Save up to $4,500 with Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter, thanks to limited time tax credits and special incentives on energy-efficient HVAC systems. But don't wait. Those federal tax credits expire after December. Upgrade your heating and cooling system, and you can enjoy lower energy bills and year-round comfort. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Call 913-888-4262 for your free consultation. Visit callhamilton.com for detailed terms and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
I've been playing sports all my life. Little football, basketball, pickleball, cross training, mud events, Spartan races and things like that.
For Dr. Eric Williams, a successful chiropractor, staying active means everything. So when nagging knee pain slowed him down, he didn't want drugs or invasive surgery. He found a natural way to get lasting relief. QC Kinetics Cellular Therapies.
We're using my body's natural abilities to get better. And that's huge. In time, that's going to be the way of the future. Using your own body's ability to heal. Now I can play day to day and not have that severe pain.
Now he's back out there doing what he loves, thanks to QC Kinetics.
Life is good. You're not going to slow me down.
Leave the pain behind and get moving. Book your free consultation today with QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Race weekend returns to Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway with over $60,000 in prize giveaways. Friday night, stay cool with the Pin Play app and pick up a 12-pack of Coca-Cola while supplies last. Saturday is the day of winners with a winner every 15 minutes. And on Sunday, win up to $2,500 in Penn bonus play with the Hollywood Casino 400 even or odd drawing. Find your fun at Hollywood Casino. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro. On them, it's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Listen to the Royals and A's this Sunday on the Fan AM 610 with Vern's on Deck show starting at 1. This is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station. Welcome into the Fan Club.
Step 1. We buy into this club. Step 2, we roll over to the club, either in your Mercedes-Benz or my pre-owned Acura Legend.
It's not as much as a club as it is a couple middle-aged dudes in sweatshirts talking about sports.
Bounce, 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 bounce. Now all the ladies saying bounce, 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 bounce.
But you get the gist. Here's Cody Tapp and Alex Gold.
It is a Fan Club Friday. We do it each and every Friday in the 1 o'clock hour of the show. It's presented by Jay Rieger, our friends over there, and Cody is still finishing up making some cocktails. Been working on that. I'll let Cody describe the cocktail. It's a Negroni, right? We've been telling you today's drink was going to be a Negroni, and I will tell you a little bit about the event they got going on tomorrow night over at Rieger as well. And we'll be giving away 2 tickets to the event, the Negroni versus Martini event that's taking place to close out Negroni week at the Hey Hey Club. A bunch of great opportunities to learn a little bit more and also, settle the ultimate cocktail debate. But if you're watching on the stream, you can see Cody has prepared the Negroni.
As an homage
yes.
to Negroni versus Martini, I served the Negroni up.
Perfect.
Which is how we used to serve it at Old Webster House. A lot of people drink it on ice, which obviously you can do as well. Negroni is one of the easiest drinks on the planet. It is equal parts Campari, sweet vermouth, and gin. There's not it is one of my favorite cocktails on the planet, but it's also one of the easiest ones to make. 3
really
ingredients, equal parts. Obviously, you haven't had Campari. It's a grapefruit liqueur. So, somewhere in there, figured I'd serve them up. That way, it's like having a martini and a Negroni.
Yeah. Cody
That
even
way,
put
if
a little
it's-
orange peel on mine.
I did put a little orange peel on there.
Going full on the presentation today. The old bartender in him couldn't help himself.
I wanted it to look good.
I like it. I like it.
love a Negroni.
This is your favorite drink. And we'll be switching it up throughout the next couple months. Last week, of course, we were drinking the Electric Park canned cocktails from Rieger. If you were looking for something more along those lines, there's obviously anything you can find something at Rieger. And tomorrow night, pretty cool event. This seems like an event Cody would like.
It did. If I was free, I'd go.
Yeah.
I really would. If I was available to go, it's something my wife and I would absolutely go to. So if you want to go, you want to just make it easy, caller number, what do we think? 7, we'll give you a pair of tickets. You call Drew up, let him know you want to go to the event tomorrow night. Make sure you can actually go.
Yeah,
Don't just take
Negroni
these
versus
tickets.
Martini. It's at Rieger. It starts at 5 o'clock tomorrow, goes till 7 o'clock. As we mentioned, Hey Hey Club, right, with gin legend Tom Nickel, also a writer from the New York Times, going to be out there. It's going to be paired up with some great bites as well, share some stories, insights, and basically discuss the cocktail debate that is Negroni versus Martini. So, 913-586-7965. But you do obviously need to be available tomorrow night.
And be 21 or older.
Of course.
Because they're not going to, not going to take your toddler out to the Martini
Seems
event.
like
But
it.
you know what? Hang in there. I got Binkley in Oktoberfest.
Yeah,
I
Jay
did not
Binkley-
make it. Binkley likes beer, and I know he likes Oktoberfest, so I set him up.
Yeah, Bink is in the studio with us. What's going on, Bink?
What's going on, fellas?
We're good. We're good. Yeah, Cody was right. He's like, Bink's not gonna want a cocktail today. He's gonna want his Oktoberfest or something like that. That's fair. We treat our guests well. But we'll get Bink on a different cocktail here in a couple
I will
of weeks.
have some of this J. Rieger gin though.
That's why the bottle's there for you, Benny. That's why. If you need,
If you just need to take a pull.
Yeah, if the takes are getting too frustrating, too hot for you, you know what? Just take a deep breath and take a swig and drink responsibly.
What a weekend, fellas. What a weekend. Of course, we have the Ryder Cup on now. Making a little comeback this afternoon.
Are they?
The Ryder Cup.
Still says 3-1. Nothing's changed.
Well, they're not over yet. The 4 balls going on this afternoon. But then Saturday's football all day. The slate tomorrow is absolutely ridiculous. Then the NFL slate, of course, the Ryder Cup finals on Sunday.
The smirk and the smile on your face.
This is not a weekend to leave your couch or your fridge at all, ever. Just
You're saying this is a stay-at-home
situation. Or if you're going to the
situation,
game, that's fine. 100%. This is a weekend to stay at home. I mean, there's weekends to go do crap.
Mm-hmm.
This is not one of them.
It's going to be gorgeous outside. This does feel like a good
what, man?
Set up patio with the TV, with some drinks from Rieger, and watch some football.
Or Fesco's place, man. That patio he's got.
That was nice.
A+ patio for Fesco.
That was fun. That was fun as well. Since you brought it up, let's start with college football. Then we'll work our way into Chiefs Ravens. We obviously are talking plenty of Chiefs today. It's a Red Friday. We'll give our game predictions. We'll also keep an eye on Andy Reid's quick media availability today if he gives any insight on who exactly is available. We all think Xavier Worthy will be good to go, seeing that he's been fully practicing the last 2 days. But I know you're a college football guy more than anything, you and Drew, and I know you guys are both pumped up. This is an awesome slate tomorrow for college football. We can get to the locals as well in a bit, but what's the game for you? There's no wrong answer here.
No, they're all good. There's 4 games between both teams are ranked. I think there could be a case that 6 teams should be ranked, like Auburn and then Washington versus Ohio State. But gosh, at noon, USC-Illinois is going to be fun. Although Illinois had 63 points put on last week. This is a top 10 team, got 63 balled by Indiana. Indiana last year, made the playoffs. look out for them, man. They're actually better this year, I think, than they were last year because the Mendoza, the Heisman favorite.
That's what's crazy.
At quarterback is
Heisman
ridiculous.
favorite.
It is at Indiana. I had to look it up. They once had a runner-up. It's the best they've ever done, Bink.
Well, Rodney Thomas is really good there.
I don't think he'll end up winning. I don't think he'll end up
I don't
winning.
remember who it was. It was some guy in 1989. It might have been that guy.
Yeah, Rodney Thomas is good, and Randall L. But 2:30 slate is good as well. If you like Ohio State, going to Washington and play. And then, of course, Ole Miss and LSU is going to be a great game. Both those teams ranked. That's 2:30. And then the night is ridiculous because that's 2 TV vision there. Because you Oregon and Penn State, little Big Ten battle there. And then you have Alabama, Georgia going on at the exact same time. That's the problem. Like, the 6 o'clock slate's ridiculous. You need like 3 TVs, 4, use your phone, use your iPad, whatever.
This is why they want to do college football red zone. Is that what you would do, Bink? Would you watch one individual game, or would you just do college football red zone? If they were
I would
giving you
do
the choice?
individual on one, but I'd have like I do now, just games on one and have red zone on the other. I will say this though, people are making a big deal of the college game day. Can they actually, do a college red zone? They did it for like 10 years, by the way. No one watched it.
It was like goal. It was called Goal Line or something,
it's like
wasn't
Goal
it?
Line
Yeah,
on
I kinda
ESPN.
remember
It was like 2010 through 2020. So they have done it. I know people, oh man, can you just imagine if they did it? Well, they did do it for like a decade.
They didn't have a true host though, right? Wasn't it just they were kind of
just different,
automated, bouncing around almost? There
And
wasn't
they got to get partnerships where they can all show all the games.
That's the biggest
because
issue.
the
Fox
TV
is not
rights-
going to agree to be on it with ESPN or whatever it may be, and the conferences won't agree.
But they're getting along better, and it's good to see. Lee Corso, when he was doing the final game day prediction, they did show it on Big Noon Kickoff.
Yeah, that
on
was
Fox. Like they did cover. That was pretty cool.
Well, that was smart on their part too. They said they were honoring Corso. I also think they realized that nobody was going to watch the final segment of Big Noon Kickoff that day. Everybody wanted to watch Corso put on the Buckeye mascot.
That was ridiculous.
And so my guess
Ratings
is it was as much as it was honoring Corso, they also realized, well, maybe we'll get a
taking
chance
an
to
L here.
we'll steal some of the audience. Maybe people will stick around.
Well, we got Cincy and Kansas going. Of course, Kansas, at home. UCF and Kansas State. I mean, who knows what to expect there? They
K-State's a
UCF
favorite.
pounded North Carolina last week, which everybody's been doing, but they are 2-2 this year. And then, of course, Missouri with a layup. This could be an overlook game, but they'll take care of
UMass?
It's UMass. It's an overlook game because they do have a bye week the following week before Alabama comes in the week after. Still in Columbia because Missouri does not go on the road till October 18th.
Who do you think, like we were saying, the Indiana quarterback is the favorite for the Heisman? We were going through some of the names. I don't think he'll end up winning it, but it is very, very wide open. For me, the guys I would put a couple dollars on right now, the Hoover kid at TCU, he's like 18-1.
Josh, you can watch him tonight.
Yeah,
going against Team 11.
He is
so
playing tonight. One of 2 Friday night games, I think, going on.
And that's a really good battle of quarterbacks right there.
And then Hardy, because he's 50-1, the running back for Mizzou.
Yep.
And then I'm drawing a blank. Oh my gosh. Oh, Carson Beck.
Yeah.
Still.
Well, Carson Beck's pretty up there as far as the odds are concerned. Before the season, though, if you would have got like Dante Moore to Oregon, I mean, the odds on that was ridiculous. But now they're not. It's much better now. But like Dante Moore to Oregon, the good odds. And then Diego Pavia is just laying out there.
That's
as
your
well.
guy. You
He's
love
just
to bring
laying
him
out-
up.
yeah,
You love to
he's
bring
just
him
laying
up.
on the weeds right there. Marcel Reed's getting some run.
A&M
at
quarterback.
A&M.
Okay.
I went ahead and put a bet on Hardy. I still think at the odds you were getting him at 50-1, if no quarterback separates and Missouri makes a college football playoff, Hardy will be the player people talk about as being the reason why. He's just been so good. I understand it
leading
can be
rusher in the
Perdula
SEC.
too, but
He's leading rusher in the SEC, second leading rusher in the nation, but he does share carries with Jamal Roberts in the backfield for Missouri. I did have John Mateer. That was the leader in the clubhouse.
That one, the injury got you there.
Well, you watch that game, you're like, when did he get hurt? When did he get hurt? And I guess it was the first quarter of that game, but he still played the remainder of the game with that broken bone.
He's done. He's just going to miss too many games.
Yeah, he's done for the Heisman Trophy.
Someone
but
on the text line was like, can he still make a run at? No, it's
not at the Heisman.
It's over.
He's ridiculously talented, but the bottom line is the Heisman it's unlike other years where it's just completely wide open.
yeah, it's way more open than before. But
Because
also,
last year you go into it as Genty and it was going to be Travis Hunter, and then Travis Hunter obviously separated.
it's a weird year for the locals because Kansas is a couple of wins away from taking them very serious for the Big 12. Like, and I still think a couple wins away. Missouri's a couple wins away from taking them very seriously for the college football playoff, although I thought they took a nice step forward against winning against South Carolina, especially because Sellers was playing.
Well, they
and
used that bye
Kansas
week
State's
to
having
beat
the
Bama.
worst year I can imagine. Like, it can't go
What's that?
anywhere.
No, Missouri needs Bama to beat Georgia because
That would help.
here's the deal. Bama's loss was Florida State, who's on a roll and crushing everybody. This is a different Florida State team.
They play tonight, too.
So if Georgia does lose to Alabama, and then Missouri having that bye week before Alabama comes to Columbia, That's the game Missouri needs to circle because that's a very important, for the SEC, for the national, for getting to the playoffs, for everything. That Alabama game is huge, and they've been playing much better football as of late with Ty Simpson's just been one of the most accurate quarterbacks you've ever seen playing for Alabama. He was 17-17 a couple weeks ago, Gold. It's ridiculous how accurate.
You think things have calmed down now in Bama? Obviously the freak out.
Run DeBoer out?
The freak out at first, that, man, this guy's going to get fired.
I think so.
Soon.
I mean, it's fans' expectations. I mean, that's what you get when you replace legend. Remember Ron Prince? There was no way. Stepping in for Bill Snyder. I mean, it was like, come on.
Ron Prince.
It's not going to
Power
work.
Cat.
But you step in for somebody. Just imagine whoever steps in for Andy Reid. You know what I'm saying? It's the same type of deal. But you're stepping in for a guy that was 7 national titles.
But that's just Alabama. You can't win 8 games at Alabama.
Well, it's not only
Everybody
that,
knows
Nick
that.
Saban's office is just down the hall. Like Caitlin DeBoer's office is here. Nick Saban is a couple doors down. That's got to be a lot of pressure having old Nick just a few doors down.
It is a Fan Club Friday, hanging out here, presented by Jay Rieger. The video stream is up and running. I'm looking across the way where Drew has turned the lights off.
He's wearing sunglasses.
Please turn on the video stream for you, too.
These are the ones.
These are the glasses where Saturday afternoon
I
tomorrow,
made sure to
Drew's
bring
going to
them.
be tank top, maybe shirtless, sitting
Hey,
on
you
his
never know,
patio,
man.
talking about a football game on our Instagram Live. And a lot of you had commented about the sunglasses and hair.
We're
Those
here.
are the same oversized sunglasses.
These
that
are the
he is-
ones. I made
he's
sure to
wearing.
bring them
Do you know-
today.
But he's
Do you know
wearing
when-
them in the dark right now.
Do you know when to tune in? 11 o'clock on Sundays.
That's right, Bink. Let's
Drew
go.
joins me at 11 o'clock each Sunday when I'm on there for after hours, when I'm doing the show. And Drew,
Is he wearing a shirt when he comes in studio?
No, we do
haven't been
it on the
in studio.
phone. We
I
do it on
do
the
it
phone
on the
because
phone.
That's a good idea.
He doesn't wear clothes.
Yeah.
So we do it on
Whoa.
the phone.
So he's probably is.
But it's
doing
the best
shirts.
segment. I mean, we just go. It's just the fastest 15 minutes ever.
Andy Reid has met with the media.
Yes.
He said that he anticipates Xavier Worthy playing on Sunday versus the Ravens, which means he will play.
He's playing.
He said that Jalen Royals is, quote, good to go for week 4 against the Ravens as well.
He was
which
good to
not
go last
surprising.
week.
Yeah, he
He was
didn't
good
get
a little
any
last week. He
snaps.
didn't get. I'm just letting you know. But yes, he did not do there. And then everybody went today except for Ashton Gelati, who was sick, battling an illness, but did not make it seem like that was going to keep him out for Sunday's game either. Versus just he was sick.
I think Ashton Gelati would also take the never getting sick again.
Yes, that's
from the
right,
random
Drew.
question.
That's exactly right.
Dehydration, Cody. He had to come out for dehydration.
Honestly,
There's no
you
way.
and I
was
both
Josh
know that
Simmons,
that was a
wasn't
lie,
it?
right?
There's no way that's what it
That's
is.
clearly not why he left the field, right?
No
I mean,
chance.
You don't.
they didn't
put
even
it-
hand him any water.
You don't put a backup in as a rookie to sit on a knee to down out the clock.
Yeah, what the hell's going
Creed
on?
Humphrey, maybe, or Trey Smith.
It's
Not
2
the rookie.
games. There must be some sort of like secret injury happening.
I have no idea what it is.
I don't know what it is either, but this is twice now he's come out of the game and he's played well, so it's not
Is
that.
it the ribs?
Did you see the they put up the stats, Bink, of how left tackles perform and how tackles in general, not just left tackles, perform in isolation, as in who are the best players in isolation when they're having to block one-on-one at the tackle position. The company he is keeping is incredible. It is Joe Alt and Jordan Mailata. Those are the kind of players he's playing like. So when he's playing by himself, man's holding it down.
It depends on the grade you look. Like Pro Football Focus looked at the Chiefs. They had Kingsley, Simmons, and Taylor's the 3 lowest graded Chiefs on offense. And they had Trey Smith as number 1, which clearly, if you watch that game, that probably is not the case to have Trey Smith at number 1. But
I don't think
sometimes you
Creed
got to
Chase
take him with a
played
grain
well,
of salt. But they do watch every single play. But Josh Simmons has been the least of the worries. Creed and Trey are going to be fine. But
they just haven't started as well.
A lot
as
less
I'd like.
worry about Josh Simmons than Kingsley and Juwan.
Big, what do you think the role is for Worthy? I said, hey, if he's playing in this game, it should be full go. There should not be much holding him back. One, I think they need him to be full go. Whatever your game plan was for the season and some different looks that nobody has seen yet, because you only saw 3 plays to start the 2025 season. I think there really should be no limitation for him heading into Sunday.
Well, it depends on how careful you want to be with the shoulder. But this is an indication that they didn't want to throw him on IR, right? That he's playing this week. But do you expect him to be ever 100%? No. But
that's what I'm saying. So,
I
then
don't
if you're going to be
expect
careful
100%.
this week, that means you think you're going to be careful every week.
Well, you're going to have to be careful to some extent, but I'll say this. When Rice comes back and Worthy's still there, Taekwon has developed into that guy, that speed guy, too, that gives you that element down the field, the 9 rounds downfield, like Xavier Worthy does. So if Worthy, you take a little easier with it because his range of motion is going to be a little bit different. It just is. And he's got to be careful with some of the hits. So it's not going to be 100% Xavier Worthy, but the good news is they're going to get a lot more out of Taekwon Thornton than they thought. I cannot wait to see the 4 of them actually play together.
I know.
That would
We're
be
a couple
insane.
weeks away, maybe, for that.
I don't want to count it before it happens.
Knock
We'll
on
see.
wood.
But no,
on wood.
Taekwon Thornton, every game, they're going to get 1 or 2 opportunities on the field. That's a given almost at this point in time.
It is. And I played something the other day was doing it was back in June, and Andy Reid was talking about Taekwon. I mean, this is after the mini camps, right? And you listen to that, and just the mini camps, the things that Mahomes was saying about Taekwon. And granted, if you ask these players and Andy Reid about a player, they'll tell you. But just to bring them up, I thought it was should have been a warning sign that Taekwon was high on Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes' list because they both were just glowing about him through the mini camps.
I know, but they glow about all kinds of players. That
but
don't
not like
end
that.
up-
But not like that.
No, I get it. I'm just saying, like, typically it's like it doesn't come that way. The truth is that I'm starting to believe, and I'll give it a couple weeks, maybe the deep ball is finally back.
It's in my folder, Alex, if you need it. It's under Taekwon.
Taekwon is
I found plenty of things I want to play from you.
No,
Bink.
if you search Taekwon, it's really good because he's talking about his trust with Mahomes.
Taekwon.
That guy's an idiot, man.
Well, that's the wrong one.
No, wrong one.
Taekwon is the number one targeted deep threat in the NFL. And Patrick Mahomes is one of the most efficient deep ball throwers in the NFL this
Here's
year.
the
So,
one thing, too.
maybe they just found that again, which is important. If that's just Taekwon did it, then kudos. I'll take it.
It helped that Taekwon was here at the end of the year on practice squad last year. And
I agree with that.
Make no mistake, he's 4.28 guy. I mean, that's blazing fast. He did set the record. He beat John Ross, but it took an hour, and they took the record away from him at the combine. But dude is a second-round pick. It's not like he's a seventh-rounder just trying to make the team as a undrafted guy. No, this guy's a second-rounder for a reason.
I know, but I doubt San Francisco's saying about Sky Moore. It's obviously like the talent part of it.
No, but
and look, getting in a new position happened. He couldn't get on the field for the Patriots last year. That's what's so crazy.
But the thing about it is, I mean, Juju didn't do well in New England either. Keep in mind, after Brady, it was a mess.
I know, but they're not like a total laughing stock now. I'm not saying it's perfect over there.
It was
but
a
they're not
mess in New
post-Brady
England.
mess.
But sometimes you have to look at what the system was, the coach, the quarterback, things like that.
It's a big bundle of suck, Dust Man.
That's right, Dust Man. Big bundle of suck. But I'll say this, though. With Taekwon, the more he does, the more attention he'll start to garner. And if you can get tension, then when Rice comes back, that'll take pressure off Kelsey. Because right now he's getting doubled and shadowed and everything else, and maybe he won't get mad so much because they
He's
will
been
be
getting pretty hot.
Well, they won't be paying as much attention to him. That's the thing. When he's on the field, he's getting doubled, and because he's the main threat. Teams look at him and say, well, it's Kelsey's threat. But if Rice is there, if Taekwon Thornton's doing his deal, it's less pressure on Kelsey, and then maybe he'll be happy.
We were discussing Derrick Henry earlier in the show. Look, I understand he's been fumbling here recently. I still think he's obviously a major threat for any defense. However, Spags has had an answer the last couple of times, Bink. We know the opener last year, 46 yards is all they allowed to Derrick Henry. Is that still the key for you, or do you just kind of assume that, hey, Spags, they'll have that taken care of? It's more whether or not Lamar Jackson just kind of goes off.
Well, they didn't have any running backs get 100 yards last year. They're very good against the run last year. Lamar did have 122 in that game. Still a loss, but he did have 122 yards rushing against the Chiefs. I mean, he did a great job down the stretch. I mean, Saquon, they didn't really use him that much in the Super Bowl, but didn't get 100 yards. I think Lamar Jackson's the biggest threat for this team. I do. I know he's been sacked 12 times this year, which is second most in the NFL. So teams are being able to get to him and let him, but you got to set the edge. Like if they're setting the edge and not
doing what Chris Jones did against Justin Herbert
not biting
in week one.
Not biting on Lamar's fakes and letting him get to the outside. They're actually, holding their ground, and Lamar's got nowhere to go, so he's been sacked 12 times. Derrick Henry's going to get his yards. You know that. For some reason, when they play the Chiefs, they do stupid things. They do. That's why Mahomes is 5-1 against Lamar Jackson. They just do things completely unexpected, but Lamar, I think, is the one they're really worried about.
That was like a genuinely shocking stat when I saw how many double-digit leads Harbaugh had blown for the Ravens. I was like, you guys have blown that many double-digit leads? Because I think of Harbaugh as being one of the better coaches in the NFL, but as long as it's been since they have won anything of importance, he's going to, and he's had way better quarterback play. He's slowly creeping into the Mike Tomlin part of the conversation. It's nice to win a lot of games and be a competitive team, and Lamar has been amazing. Why have you not done more with Lamar? It's like a Sean Payton situation. At the end of the career, we're going to ask how he did way less with Lamar Jackson than he should have done.
Well, I tell
You
you
guys are
this much,
two-time MVP.
I wish they would have found a way to win that opening game and gave Buffalo the L, because I think Buffalo Bills are going to be undefeated when they play the Chiefs. They're
going to end up being the one seed. They're going to end up being the one.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that would go the other way. The Chiefs have their chance here at the Ravens, and of course, Week 9 a chance at the Bills.
It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks for the Chiefs. They obviously have to stay healthy till it's still so long before Rashee Rice gets back.
It is, but this Ravens
still
team
so long.
But the one thing about this team is it's the NFL myth. There's these myths out there about certain teams and areas. Oh, the Ravens defense is nasty. It's tough. I mean, it is.
That's not
no,
true
it's
right
a big bundle of suck, to be honest with you. Their defense is 32nd in the NFL. The 31st against the pass, by the way. I know they brought in Jair Alexander, but he's barely played. They were 31st last year. It was the Ravens and the Jags, the two worst teams against the pass in the NFL. So if you look and say, oh, it's early. Well, you're almost getting to that quarter mark of the season, but they were 31 against the pass last year, and they still are. That hasn't improved.
Genuinely, one of my favorite things Alex Smith said to us earlier in the show, and we'll play back part of that coming up at 1:30, was he was like, Rex Ryan every week's trying to convince me to run the ball. And he's like, if I had Patrick Mahomes, who would want to run it?
Yeah.
And you're like, exactly. If you've got a team 31st, if we think there's going to be like all Isaiah Pacheco, they're terrible against the pass. They should throw against this team on Sunday.
This is a team you can throw against at will. They
Elsewhere,
should be able to run the ball against them, too. They've been terrible against the run.
Elsewhere in the NFL, what are you keeping an eye on this weekend? I mean, the Chargers are taking on Jackson Dart. He makes his debut. You got the Broncos, of course, going up against the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday Night Football. And then Sunday night, it's Jerry Jones' Cowboys going up against Micah Parsons. I don't know if you saw Jerry Jones today. This is what Jerry said about Micah returning.
Micah is special, and we all know he is, and he can be disruptive. But we have huge amounts of experience with the anecdotes that we've seen used on us for the last 4 years. Right. And while he does make great plays, there is also a way to approach playing against Micah, as we know, because we didn't exactly win the Super Bowl during those years. So bottom line is, when I look at playing him, I think of trying to have him as an advantage when we were playing other teams over the last 4 years. And some plays it looks beautiful, but then other plays, especially running plays, you can wish you'd have had a different formation.
Jarrah.
It's the second time he's brought up Micah against the run. He brought it up as soon as he made the trade. He brought up, well, he's not exactly good against the run. Like paraphrasing it, but he did talk about how bad he is against the run. As soon as he made the trade, he doubled down.
Michael Parsons.
Yeah. They could use
Parsons
him too.
might have 5 sacks
because that's the Cowboys' defense.
I think he's going to dominate.
I'm telling you, whenever he sacks, he needs to point up. Whenever he gets a sack, he needs to point up at Jerry's box.
He should.
He should point at him.
How many times have you seen the little rascal so clever?
Explain this, Jerry. How did Russell Wilson get 450 and 3 and then bench the next week?
True.
Smiles and glory holes.
Yeah, exactly.
Bink,
Exactly.
we're going to play back a little bit of what Alex Smith had to say. We appreciate you hanging out with us, a little Fan Club Friday. What do you got in store this weekend? Obviously, Sunday at 10 a.m. you start?
Yeah, 10 to noon. Drew always comes on at 11. We recap the action of Missouri, Kansas State, and we'll talk about some of those great national games as well.
That's a Fan Club Friday here, brought to you by Jay Rieger. We'll continue the Fan Club, drinking some Negronis, thanks to Rieger. We're also going to hear our conversation we had earlier today with Alex Smith, the former Chiefs quarterback. We did ask him about the 1-5 start, and as Cody mentioned, what's this offense going to look like as they get Rashee Rice and some other players back? That's coming up next.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Chris Jones. You're listening to Cody and Gold. Weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Bud Light and Tanners are teaming up to make every college game day legendary. Every Saturday, rep your college team, catch every play, and enjoy $15 buckets. Only at Kansas area Tanners locations. Bud Light and Tanners. From the stands to the bar, your game day headquarters.
It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan and the other place, especially with these amazing game day specials. 14-inch two-topping pizzas for just $12 and $4 domestic OP cups. The other place with 5 great Kansas City Metro locations.
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to select entries and win money all season long. And you can play right now in Missouri. That's right, from your couch. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just choose your favorite players, and if they'll go higher or lower than stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Plus, get your entries right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. And you can play with as little as $1. One of the easiest apps I've ever downloaded. Come join the millions of us who have already won billions over at Underdog. And download the app today and sign up with promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Tomorrow you'll hear Kansas State football in place of the John Clay Wolf Show. But don't forget, you can still catch the show live on the John Clay Wolf YouTube channel. Sponsored by Give Me the VIN, America's best car buyer.
At Straight Talk, we get it. You say no a lot.
Mom, can I get a tarantula? No. Coffee?
No. So we're giving you more reasons to say yes, like a free 5G phone with real unlimited data with select plan activation.
Can I use the free phone?
Yes. See, doesn't it feel good to say yes to more?
Absolutely. Face tattoo?
Absolutely not. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. In-store activation of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ready to kick off the fun? Chumba Casino is your go-to game plan during halftime or overtime. From spinning slots to instant scratch-style cards, it's like running the perfect play, all from home. New players score a free welcome bonus and daily logins with a shot at some serious prizes every time you play. Get in the game and visit ChumbaCasino.com today. Let's Chumba. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
Sports brought to you by the Salvation Army and registertoring.com.
Make it a tradition. Grab your friends or family and ring bells together for the Salvation Army. Just 2 hours can change lives this holiday season. Sign up today at registertoring.com. That's registertoring.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here on a Fan Club Friday, it's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Jay Binkley hanging out with us as well, drinking some Negronis today from our friends over at Jay Rieger & Co. Congratulations. What was the person's first name, Drew? Do you remember who won the pair of tickets? Keith. Shout out to Keith, who won the pair of tickets to the Negroni vs. Martini event tomorrow night out at Rieger, 5 to 7 o'clock. We appreciate Keith for listening to the show. Congrats. Hopefully you've got a fun evening planned tomorrow now with Jay Rieger. Earlier today, Alex Smith, former Chiefs quarterback, joined us on the show. It's been a while since we talked with him and got his perspective on the slow start and what it's like to kind of struggle to meet expectations early on in the season.
Yeah, a couple things. I mean, obviously you said it. This is this is the last time that this team knew, adversity this early in a season was definitely when I was lining up at quarterback. So it's been a while. I think a couple things. To think back to that 1-5 start, and I'd been around several head coaches at that point in my career. I'd had several bad starts to seasons before, and I just remember coming in, and I remember how calm Andy was. Like this, he wasn't panicked, right? And I remember how rare that was. I remember him telling everybody that he was going to be a little better. And the coaches are going to be a little better, and you guys need to prepare a little better, and we need to execute a little better. And it was just so much of like, you look around the league at all these teams that get off to bad starts, and we always see these drastic changes, right? People are fired, they lose their, quarterback changes, or they lose their play calling abilities. And I think people so often do kind of rash things when they're under that kind of pressure. And I remember thinking how unique it was that Andy just seemed to have such amazing resolve, and he was so kind of immune to it. And how impressive it was. And again, it made the difference, right? Like the momentum is obviously such a big thing in the NFL. And if you can get one win, right? If you can, one scoring drive and kind of get some momentum going, and then all of a sudden you stack them, it can obviously have a powerful effect. I think the other thing is I think about this, currently the core of this current Chiefs team that's been together obviously these last several years and had so much success. But they've had a lot of adversity too, right? Like this isn't the first time that they've faced adversity. This is a team that has had, faced a lot of adversity, especially offensively, the last couple of years, and still found a way to overcome it. And I think they will lean on those experiences. Again, they haven't gone through this, 3 weeks into the season before, but it's still valuable experience that they will rely on, I think, to work through this.
I think that's one of those things that stood out between people talk about the Andy or Travis thing, and we're always trying to decide, do we notice it more when things aren't going well? Is it just kind of part of it? Like when you have guys like Travis, and you were around Travis forever, it feels like he's the ultimate I want to win no matter what. It feels like the frustration shows with some of those guys, but I'm assuming in the building it's not like that. That when they're sitting in every day-to-day stuff is very normal.
Well, yeah, when you get back into your routine, for sure. You just can't sit in that kind of experience. I mean, even certainly I so appreciated Travis's vulnerability and honesty, obviously after last week and the tough drop, right? That kind of obviously was a defining play in that game. And it's a play obviously that, listen, he's he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest pass catching tight end of all time, right? But he's not perfect. And I think true leadership, not just from him but Andy, it shows up in the hard times, right? You don't really need it. You don't really need it when things are going well, right? Like when you're winning a bunch of ball games, there's not an opportunity for it. And I think for those guys to step up and to lead by example, when you're not having success, when things are hard, I think is even more important. I think that's again a valuable example for all the young guys on the team to look at. And again, is there a bigger star in the NFL right now? And for him, again, I think to be so real, again, is such a valuable, to have that on your team goes so far, right? I think for the entire roster to see that, to him kind of taking accountability and know that he's going to be better and he'll do anything it takes to win, right? Honestly, this guy doesn't care if he catches 2 balls and they win a football game and he has to block all day. He's going to be pumped.
Did you ever think, Alex, though, when you had Travis Kelce walk in the building, though, just that obviously not the off the field stuff, nobody could have predicted this kind of stardom, if you will, but just on the field, what he's become and the success he's had. What did you think of him when he first showed up?
You don't want to know. No, I mean, listen, the organization was excited from day one. With being able to draft him. They were incredibly excited. I will never forget, like, literally, I mean, I think days after the draft, that we got a guy, right? We really think he's special and can be something. Now, listen, nobody can say that he was going to become what he has, right? The career that he has. Again, it's just one of one. But I think I knew how unique he was. And in so many different ways, right? Like, I remember very quickly realizing this unique skill set, right? The wiggle, the basketball moves that we see at tight end. I think very quickly you could see that, listen, this guy played quarterback and he saw the big picture, right? Like, very quickly, you could tell that it was easy for him to handle, like, the different matchups he got, the different leverages he got, like what defenses were trying to do to take him away and how to counter it. Cause I think he just had a great understanding of offense and defensive football. And then I think very quickly, obviously, what a unique teammate he was going to be, right? Again, he's so incredibly refreshing. He has so much fun. He has so much gratitude to be playing. And I think that's really unique. That can sound weird, but in a professional setting with expectations and contracts, and sometimes things can get heavy and hard. And Trav just always, like, every single day, just love being out there, grin on his face, telling jokes, having fun, dancing. And again, I think that this sounds like a small thing, but you appreciate it in the moments. And I know they'll be appreciating it even right now, right? Like, again, a lot of pressure to win and get back to, no one wants to start 1-3. But again, I think to have that every day, that kind of attitude does really help.
Has it been crazy from the outside seeing all the other stuff? Him and Taylor?
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. I mean, of course. Again, it just... crazy. I mean, again, even Kansas City, such an amazing town. But listen, this isn't New York, right? Like, this isn't some big giant market team. Again, it's the Midwest, and just such an amazing fan base, and just to become kind of certainly America's team, to go on the run they've had, to see what Patrick's done, and then obviously Travis on top of that. Yeah, just never could have expected it.
Year to year, like, we look at Andy's offenses in the last couple of years, they've been so much more like close to the line of scrimmage, not the deep, not the stuff we're used to, I guess.
Yeah.
Andy Reid-led offenses. Where do you think that's coming? Is it just offensive line play, or is that a huge part of it? Or, how much does it change year to year for Andy? Because we've seen more of it this year. Like, where do you think some of that, the closer to the line of scrimmage stuff is coming from Patrick?
I think that this is the amazing thing about Andy Reid, is he just doesn't run a playbook. He just doesn't. There isn't like some playbook that he's running. And obviously, he grew up in the West Coast world, and they still use that terminology. But it is so fluid year to year about what his team does well, what's our talent, how can I put these guys in a situation to have success. And so you just continually see it morph. And listen, when the Tyreek trade happened, and obviously Travis is getting older, and those guys, you didn't have those two guys in their prime, and you weren't lighting up scoreboards and throwing for 50 touchdowns. Right, like, that's just not sustainable. So it started to look different, right? Like, how can we move the ball efficiently? And certainly you saw defenses, I think, even countering it, right? They weren't going to give up the big play anymore. And you saw all the shell defense. And so this was an offense that all of a sudden started to incorporate more RPO, right? You saw a lot of the underneath throws and gun runs. And Patrick, it was still a way for them to obviously create some offense and move the football. And this became one of the most efficient offenses in football. It was weird to go from one of the most explosive to one of the most methodical. And again, I think that says not obviously a lot just about Andy, but the players there. And I think you're in a weird situation here these first 6 weeks, obviously without Rashid. I think he's a guy that, listen, this is a phenomenal football player. I think that last year before his injury, you saw the season he was having, and obviously, to miss the first 6 weeks. But I think when he comes back, that will be a huge boost for this offense. Obviously, Worthy coming back hopefully will help there as well. But I think they're kind of sorting out that identity here these first few weeks. We saw a little more under center last week, right? Trying to run the football, get downhill. Thankfully, Patrick wasn't the leading rusher for the first time of the season. But I think that's going to help with some of the play action pass and be able to push the ball downfield a little bit to some of these guys.
We're talking to Alex Smith here on Cody and Gold. You mentioned it right there. I was going to ask you, we know Andy Reid never is going to be run first, nor should they when you got a guy like Patrick Mahomes. But how important is it to get Isaiah Pacheco and get this running game going right now, especially as you said, when you're not having someone like Rashee Rice be a weapon for you?
Yeah, it's there's just so many variables. And listen, I work with Rex Ryan on Sundays, and he's like constantly talking about running the football. And I'm just like, listen, if you had 15, you wouldn't be running.
Right.
And it's like so hard not to put the ball in his hands every play. But I think, again, there's a lot of things that mentioned obviously earlier, that this young left side of the O-line, right? Like in some ways getting under center, running the football, letting those guys get downhill a little bit helps, especially depending on their matchup, right? Like that Giants D-line they went against last week's a monster, right? And so and is it a way all of a sudden to get some looks downfield and to play action and to move the pocket a little bit here and there. And so I think, do we see it again this next week? Right? Maybe, right? This is a Ravens team that's struggled to stop the run. Certainly saw obviously Detroit, get downhill on them in the run game as well. And so will that be there? Again, we'll see. I still think it's a work in progress. Obviously Worthy coming back is a big addition, but I think the big one's when Rashee can get back.
Feel must win for both of these teams? Just knowing who they typically are?
It's like it's so crazy to say must win this early. Like this is a huge game. This is a big game for both teams. Again, but obviously one of these teams is going to be 1-3, which is crazy. But a big football game here, week 4, right? And again, I think both these teams' sense of urgency will be maxed out. Yes.
Before we let you go, Alex, also we see another young quarterback getting an opportunity this week. Jackson Dart gets the start now for the Giants. We all know how involved you were with Patrick, and he gives you a ton of credit for his growth. I feel like, there's some people that feel like, sit a year is the path because of what you guys were able to do. There's others that think, this is too early. What do you make as someone that was right in that feel around an organization that had drafted a young quarterback?
Well, yeah, and then even to go back to my year, I lived it. I started week 4. This feel like deja vu, right? Like I played a little bit week 3. Things weren't going well early, and then wham, you're starting. And I just, the real question they should be asking, and this is what's unfortunate, is like, is Jackson ready, right? Like and is the team ready around him, right? Like have we given him the best chance to go out there and have success? And instead, unfortunately, I feel like, listen, we didn't get off to a great start. We don't have any wins. Russ didn't play well last week, right? Like, let's just get him out there because of the pressure, because the fans were booing, because maybe the head coach is feeling pressure for his job. And that's just not how you should be making the decision, in my opinion, right? Should they sit 1 year? How many games? I don't think there's an exact number. I do think there's a lot of value, though, in Jackson watching guys go out there and prepare and play. They have this guy named Jameis Winston who's also played well at times in this league, and I thought maybe it would be an opportunity for him to go play a few games, and for Jackson to sit and watch another guy do it. I don't love doing it against the Chargers, right? You guys know this defense. This defense the last 2 years is a monster. It's one of the best in the NFL, and so. I'm not sure they've again are making decisions based on that. Like, how have we done everything possible for Jackson to have the best chance of success? It seems short-sighted. I love Jackson. This is a Salt Lake kid. His dad went to the University of Utah. I know him and his family. I'm obviously wishing him the best, and I hope I'm wrong on this. I hope he goes out there and crushes it. But it's hard. It's hard as a young quarterback in this league, and to go play this early. But hopefully they'll put a good game plan together for him. I hope he goes out there and feels like he can just run the offense and not have to be anything extra, right? You don't need to do anything special. Just go run the offense, be yourself, and hopefully he's not feeling the pressure to go out there and do too much.
So that was Alex Smith a little bit earlier on today with us, the former Chiefs quarterback. It was good to hear from him, and obviously great perspective that he has on a 1-5 start, and that team ended up making the postseason. Also, just kind of how Andy goes about his business, how it's going to be very calm. There really isn't any panic that's going on.
And that was with a team that had not proven what this team has proven.
But he acknowledged, look, he was like, I don't know if it must win Sunday, but he's like, it's a big game. It's a big game on Sunday for both the Chiefs and the Ravens. We got Jay Binkley also in studio with us right now. It is a Fan Club Friday hanging out here thanks to Jay Rieger and company. Cody made some Negroni cocktails using Jay Rieger spirits, so those were very, very good today. And we also want to remind you again, tomorrow night over at Rieger, they have their Negroni versus Martini event. Starts at 5 o'clock, goes till 7 o'clock. Obviously, you can go to jriegerco.com for more details on that event and any of the other great events that they do over at Rieger. Let's get into kind of how we see this. Yeah, how we see this, Cody, this thing going on Sunday. Individual performances, the game script, all of that. We've kind of shared a little bit earlier. We haven't given our final score. Bink, we'll start with you. How do you see this game going from a game script, and then ultimately, do the Chiefs get it done?
I think it's going to be extremely close, and I look at the Ravens' defense, and they're not as nasty as they've once been. Not even close to the defense we've been thinking about. But Lamar Jackson is so good. I do think the Chiefs win by 3, though. I do think it's a close game, and I do feel a field goal towards the end. I'm going to say 27-24 Kansas City. Okay,
we're pretty close on the actual score. Yeah, on social media, there's our score prediction video will be out on Sunday, I think it is, on the Fan 965. So I also have it a 3-point margin. Look, I believe Xavier Worthy playing this game is massive because there's just no film of him in this iteration of the Chiefs offense. And you can say, well, they can look at last year's tape. I understand that. My thought is that all offseason.
Last year's tape didn't include Hollywood Brown.
Sure,
for most
but
of
also,
it.
my thought is all offseason you had a game plan you were putting together, not just for the Chargers game, but what you want this offense to look like and what role Xavier Worthy's going to have. Well, nobody's seen that yet because he got hurt 3 plays in. He's going to play on Sunday. Tyquan Thornton has emerged as a legitimate deep threat. Every single game this year, even the losses, they've been able to scheme him open, or he's just been able to make a contested catch like he did against the Giants. So I do think the offense will look better. Now, I don't think they're scoring 35 points, and if it's 34-31, 35-31 type of game, no. I think the Chiefs will have to pick their spots. The defense is going to have to play great, but I'm confident that they have shown under Spags their ability to adjust week to week, game plan, shutting down Derrick Henry, and make Lamar and Mark Andrews beat you kind of thing. And Isaiah likely nearly did a year ago when they opened up the season. I have the Chiefs winning, though, despite being underdogs at home, just third time, I guess it is, for Patrick Mahomes or fourth time for Patrick Mahomes being a home dog. 26-23, a little funky score there, missed extra point or whatever.
Close.
Yeah.
Well, Butker's been good at missing those. We didn't even talk about that with Bink.
Yeah.
The kicking problems over the last couple of years. I was really torn. I think earlier in the week, if you'd made me make this prediction on Tuesday, I would have said the Ravens. What happens typically in these situations?
Key injuries, though.
Key injuries. I knew Matt Abuke.
Ronnie Stanley's been
not going to
banged
play.
up.
Ronnie Stanley didn't practice yesterday. I don't know if he was.
I think
out
he
on the
practiced
field.
today. I think he's day-to-day is what Harbaugh said. But
maybe
keep this in mind, too, though. They only have 3 sacks on the season, just 3.
Yeah, so
which, if you're a tackle for the Chiefs, you got to be happy.
So the Chiefs' offensive line, I think that there's a lot of things that favor them in this matchup. And now because Worthy's back, I think they can take advantage of a bad pass defense from the Ravens. I still think it's close.
Yeah.
I say this with almost no confidence is the truth, is that I think this game will be dangerously close. I am not optimistic about Sunday, but if you make me predict one of the two teams, I'll take if this were in Baltimore, I'd take the Ravens.
Okay.
Because they're at home, I'll take the Chiefs. 24-23.
Okay,
That might be wishful thinking. I think that game in that mid to low 20s
is this going to be final 2 minutes of the game? We're all sweating still.
Yes.
My guess is my thought is the Chiefs will need a defensive stop. The Chiefs are up. Baltimore has the ball, and it's going to come down to a Spags defensive stop again. And I think that's very much in play. So far, all three of us have had the same margin of victory for Kansas City, just about, right?
I won.
But the sacks they give
24-23.
Oh, I thought you said,
why did I
think you said 24-21? I don't know.
That's all right.
I was hearing a different
Mine was
score.
1, yours was 3.
Yeah.
Spags can be dialing up everything. You see the way the Lions pass rush got to Lamar. I mean, that's just, if you're a defensive coordinator, you salivate, man. The amount of sacks they were getting against the Ravens was insane.
He's still just playing really well, though, Bank. He leads the league in passing touchdowns.
Lamar's a problem.
Drew?
You were thinking 24-21 because that's the score that I have.
Okay. Okay.
I was like, man, which team do I want to lose more? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You want the Chiefs to win for your sake.
I have the Chiefs winning 24-21. I think it'll be a close game. And like you guys said, it's the low 20s. It just feels like the ballpark of where it fits what the Chiefs want to do. And I do think it'll be the defense that makes a key stop late in the game at some point, whether it's a forced turnover, whether it's just a turnover on downs. They're going to make a play, and the Chiefs end up winning this one by 3 points.
Okay, that's our thoughts. Text line 913-586-7965. Couple 31-17s coming in. A couple.
Are those two different people?
Two different numbers. 31-17. Someone says with a defensive score. Look, if the Chiefs do get a defensive score, then obviously your odds, and no matter who you're playing, skyrocket in a victory. I don't know what the exact math is, but
what is that, like a pick six for McDuffie or something like that? You know,
strip sack, strip sack. You know, a little strip sack. Picked up by Leo Chanel, runs back the other way for a touchdown. That's what the texter is thinking.
You're trying to really predict this thing. A Leo Chanel touchdown.
It's not about. I didn't say they're getting a defensive score.
I'm just saying the fact that you throw out Leo Chanel. I mean, now I have to look at almost see how much. What are the odds on a Chiefs defensive touchdown?
What do you guys make of just the rest of the week in the AFC West? You've got a Raiders team taking on the Bears. You've got the Chargers obviously taking on Jackson Dart and the Giants, and then on Monday Night Football, Denver's hosting Jake Browning and the Cincinnati Bengals.
I think that if they get any kind of reasonably decent play out of Jackson Dart, they're at the very least covering that and have a chance for the upset.
7.5, I think it is, right?
And I know that sounds like wishful thinking because if the Chiefs win, they're 2-2, and then they'd only be a game back of the Chargers and still have a game. I just think for the first time all year, it was very obvious that they're operating with a not very good offensive line in LA. And last year, it took a little while before the Chiefs' offensive line showed its real cracks. And you're like, ooh. Because for a while, I remember specifically, we were having a conversation 2 or 3 weeks ago, like, you know what, Chiefs' offensive line held up okay. Not so bad. And then they benched Kingsley, and we're like, maybe it's not going as good as we thought. And then a couple weeks after that, we're like, this is a bad offensive line, and they got problems. I feel like